Oh,
Oh, was
fuck.
it? Oh, theme tunes. Theme tunes, yeah?
Guerrilla cricket. Whoa. Guerrilla cricket. Whoa. Guerrilla. Take guard, man the barricades, patrol the cover boundary. At last the time is come, this is a cricketing emergency. Hear this call to arms for every cricket revolutionary. Take up your bats and stumps for the test match insurgency. At first they tried to silence us, but we would not be silenced. They threatened us with lies, so we threatened them with violence. Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket. It's not about the winning, it's about how many rules you break. Even in cricket commentary, this is the best advice to take. Pick guerrilla cricket, it's the finest choice you'll ever make. There's so much more to cricket than rev counters and a slice of cake. At first they tried to sanitize us and clean up our act. But people like it filthy, and we know that for a fact. Fidel Castro, Lenny Pascoe, Carlos the Jackal, Umar Akmal, Mahatma Gandhi, Grant and Andy, Brendan Behan, Austin Ian, guerrilla cricket. Stick with us, cause you know we're not the kind of thing that you see on the TV and the radio. So vive la revolution. First they tried to buy us, but we would not be bought. Okay, we were, but then we ran away, and we will not be caught. Would not give up the ghost when they left us all for dead. They decapitated us, but we just grew another head. Chairman Mao, Jamie Howe, Ho Chi Minh, Asif Din, Václav Havel, Graham Saville, No Surrender, Percy Fender, Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket. You can be my captain, I can be your number 3. I can call you Straussy, Straussy when you call me, you can call me Jonathan Trot. Jonathan Trot.
Yes, you may wonder while we're playing a much missed jingle, that of Jonathan Trott, of course, the beast of T20 international cricket with 7 caps to his name and a highest score of 51, a strike rate of around about 95, is in charge of the mighty Afghanistan as they try to bring down England at the imaginatively named Perth Stadium, which is, funnily enough, a stadium in Perth. Good morning, good afternoon, good dawn, good dusk. Wherever you are in the world, welcome to Guerrilla Cricket, the crunchiest, tastiest, revolutionaryest commentary you're ever likely to hear. I'm Gorilla Hendo, Nigel Henderson, and I am joined by a native of Perth and a native of Exeter. Which is quite a big difference, isn't it, really? Messi Jez, the wonder from Down Under, is with us. And how far, as the crow flies, or perhaps as the kookaburra flies in your case, are you from the Perth Stadium?
Probably about 18 miles to put it in your distances, but I've never tried flying, I've got to tell you.
Yeah, it's not easy to get on the back of a kookaburra, is it? I mean, since you've put on a bit of weight, anyway, I know you were pretty good normally.
And although I've lived here for 50 years, I don't actually regard myself as a native. I'm still a native of Eastbourne.
You're really English, aren't you? You're under the impression that you're Australian. Now something's happened to your brain. Anyway, Annie, the wonderful Annie, is here as well. I like your banister. Is it your banister or your what's above your head?
This?
Yes.
How well? Thank you for noticing. This is my my magazines, my county cricket magazines.
Oh, right. Oh, the very famous County Cricket Matters, of course, of which you are editor
yes.
and esteemed owner. Anyway, the news is that England have won the toss. What do you think, Annie? What do you think England would do if they won the toss in their first game? Just to see if you can figure it.
Funnily enough, they are bowling.
They are bowling. It's true.
But Afghanistan are pretty happy about that, I think.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see how Afghanistan go about it. I mean, I looked at the Afghanistan team this morning. Didn't have a lot of chance to do any background, and it just seems to have changed beyond all recognition. I will read you the team, and there are only about 3 or 4 names that jump out at me. Hazratullah Zazai, Ramanullah Gurbaz, Ibrahim Zadran, Usman Ghani, Najibullah Zadran, Mohammed Nabi, we all know about him, he's the captain, Azmatullah Amaze, Rashid Khan, well, you don't need to say much about him, Mujib ur Rahman, 2, I suppose, bowlers that will prove very dangerous to England. Farid Ahmad and Fazalak Faruqi are the players representing Afghanistan today. England line up with Butler, Hales, Milan, Stokes, Brooke, Livingston, Moeen Ali, Sam Curran, Chris Wokes, Chris Jordan, Adil Rashid, and Mark Wood. I make that. Hang on, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Chris Jordan is not in the team. That's Tony for you. He's written. I asked him to write down the teams, and he's somehow included Chris Jordan, who is definitely not playing. However, someone who is playing and will open the bowling, curiously enough, for England, is this man.
Ben?
What?
Ben Stokes.
And we think he will be bowling to Hazratullah Zazai. He's got a jingle that goes like this. Well, he can hit the ball. He's got a best in this format of 162 not out.
It's not bad, is it?
Well, it's not bad, is it? And I'm guessing, was that in that game against Ireland where they had an amazing opening stand? I think it might have been. Someone will put us right on that. But we shall see. He's also got Ramanullah Gurbaz, who is wicketkeeper batsman at the other end. He's gone all Brazilian. He's just calling himself Gurbaz. I suppose if he does really well, you could call it Gurbaz ball. Someone's got to laugh at my jokes. For goodness
You're on fire this morning.
Well, we are waiting.
This afternoon.
This afternoon. It is just this afternoon. I might have to ask the bear to bring my enormous bottle of beer in because I'm going to get absolutely plastered because Tony is driving me home. Which is
nice
fabulous news. In comes Ben Stokes for the first ball of England's opening game, and he brings the ball back into the left-hander, who is trying, if anything, to turn it into the onside, but it meets him on the pad before it gets anywhere near bat. A little bit of swing for Ben Stokes there, but no run. We shall, of course, tweet you up very shortly, see who's joined us. Hopefully lots and lots of people who have been excited by Australia's absolute mullering from New Zealand.
Yeah, that was quite a game, wasn't it?
They're amusing me already.
Well, the thing is that New Zealand never do it when it matters against Australia, do they? I mean, it might matter, but it doesn't feel like it does already. This is turned off his hip by Hazrat. Isn't there some sort of covering you wear that's called Hazrat or something? Hazmat. They're calling him Hazrat on Sky, so I'll stick with that. He gets his first single. Afghanistan are up and running. They're 1 without loss.
I think the Australian result will leave them with quite a lot to do, though. Even if it doesn't matter as such, I think it still is. It makes sense.
Yeah, but you know Australia, they always find a way. Oh yeah, the net run rate must be terrible.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's not dissimilar to the way England flogged Australia in the last World Cup.
Exactly.
Yeah, and look what happened there.
Yes, precisely. England have got a slip. They've got a man on the 45, got a man back at deep square leg also in front of square, mid-wicket and a mid-on of the onside fielders. He's coming in, Stokes, to bowl to Gabaz, who gets in behind this one, fiddles it into the onside, and there is no run. Moeen Ali, it appears, is the man entrusted with being the slip. Is Moeen Ali renowned as being a slipper? I don't think he is. But anyway, that's where he's found himself.
It's not common, is it?
No, seems strange. There must be better slippers than Moeen Ali. Wouldn't you like to have a pair of Moeen Ali slippers for Christmas?
Yeah.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Nice
Stokes.
sort of beard going on, yeah.
The feeling on your feet would be glorious, wouldn't it?
Mm.
You two are weird.
We are weird. That's why we do this. Gurbaz is waiting.
Far better things to do on Saturday.
Right-handed batsman facing up to Stokes. Stokes gives him width outside the off stump. He throws the hands through the ball, but makes no contact, and it goes straight through to Joss Butler behind the stumps, and there is no run. Good start from England. This just the single from the first 4 balls. I've got a feeling this is the way they're going to use Stokes, maybe just for 1 over at the beginning.
Get it out the way.
Yeah, technically.
Well, last time I was on here, everyone was saying don't play Stokes, and I still think he should be playing him.
Well, he's in again.
Yeah,
he comes down the wicket and he throws the bat at this. He was trying to hit him right over the top, but again he fails to make contact as Gabaz, and again it goes through to Butler. There is no.
He's definitely
run.
not Gabaz ball.
He's not Gabaz ball. He's a bit lacking in the Gabaz ball stakes. Lovely little bit of swing actually from Stokes. But England have potentially got 7 bowlers. They've got 4 pace bowlers they can use, and they've also got 3 potential spinners.
They've got living
so they've got lots of options, which is good. Stokes is in, bowls. This time he will get a run. Flicks it, tries to get it past the man on the 45, but the man on the 45 will not be having any of it. Dives to his left, Mark Wood, and prevents anything more than a single. That is the end of the first over. Afghanistan put into bat are 2 for no wicket. Messi Jez, what's happening on Twitter?
So Mog says, but wait, there's more cricket.
Yes.
Jay says, afternoon all, I used the break to start on the decorations, but Dan, it's far too bright here. I better wait till dusk for all the really scary ones. My scary is a plush gnome saying boo while riding a bicycle. He also says, hooray Hendo, hooray Annie.
Yes, hooray.
He's already happy about me, I'm sure. And Dave Wood says, 1 game in, and Messi J says switch nationality.
Yes, he's got no loyalty, that Messi Jez. I mean, he's been in Australia for 50 years, but he's
bloody fickle.
He is so fickle. Anyway, opening the bowling for England alongside Ben Stokes is this man.
Twitter fan on the Ashes tour. Not Ben Stokes, but he'll have to do.
Did we have a GPL for the first game? And if so, what happened?
We did, and nobody won it. And we are starting this game at, I think it's £211.
Wow, incredible stuff. Onto the back foot goes Gabaz to Woke's first ball. He drops it down only a few feet from him, and he's signalling to his partner, come on, run, you can make it. But Hazrat says no, and so he has to walk back into his crease. There is no run. Afghanistan 2 without loss. We're into the Super 12s. The Super 12s. And it's the second
certainly
game.
not gone off New Zealand style at the moment, are they?
Not at all. That said, I didn't see any of that game. I only saw the score at the end of the first innings. Wokes in again. Bowles finds the edge. There is a man down at third man, but it's going fine of him. He's done well to get round to his left. Wood again. They will get back for a second. Afghanistan move to 4 for no wicket. I'm just thinking we haven't actually jingled up the other batsman, but I have a horrible feeling that he's not made it into the cart. So I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to jingle him up. He's not made it. They've made too many changes.
Messi Jez can do a little song for him.
Be nice, wouldn't it? Ring of 4 on the offside as he's into Gabaz. He goes right across and plays an extraordinary shot. It wasn't a ramp shot. It wasn't a scoop shot. He went about a foot outside his off stump, and he genuinely swept that long and high and all the way down to long leg
Definitely
for
not in
one
the manual,
of
that one.
these. What a shot. What an extraordinary shot. He's taken that still from outside off stump. Even though he's gone way outside off stump. The ball has pitched outside off stump. And he's put that away over long leg. It's a shame there aren't more people at the Perth Stadium to see it. It's quite a small crowd, although it is a big arena, is it not, Messi?
He deserves. He
over
definitely
60,000,
deserves a
yes.
jingle.
He does. And he plays a nice stroke to the next delivery. Much more orthodox this up to mid-off. He'll run through for the single. Afghanistan just beginning to get themselves going. They go to 11 for no wicket. Gurbaz has 10 of those. Hazrat, who's only faced 2 balls, has a single. And Chris Wokes has come from nowhere, hasn't he, really, to be back in this England T20 side. He's been out of competitive
Do you
cricket
think
for
he's
so
in
long.
because of Topley being out?
I don't know. I'm not sure whether they would have played Topley over Curran. I'll tell you about my experience with the Smaximum this week, which has been disastrous. And that is why you haven't received it yet. But it involves a piece that I wrote about Reece Topley. And if Sam Curran goes on and gets 8 wickets today, then it will be rendered rather pointless anyway. But
That would really
we'll come
piss
back
you
to
off.
that. It was just another thing to piss me off. Wokes into the left-hander. He jabs this into the offside towards extra cover. Milan Fields, there is no run. Yes, I did I got the Smaximum all ready. I'd got all the pieces that had been supplied to me by Tony, Jason G. Hiscox and Chris Woke himself. Got them in. I wrote a piece myself. I highlighted it to move to the Patreon page, and somehow my mouse hit delete, and the whole of it went, and I couldn't find it. Even with Control Z, I couldn't find it. Slower ball from Chris Wokes, cleverly done, and it's in the end just dropped into the onside, and Wokes is very alert, prevents them coming through for a single by chasing forward, and the score remains as it was. So as you can imagine, at about 8 o'clock last night, I was practically in tears, and I probably broke a few items of furniture. A couple of computers may have gone out the window, but it was a rant par excellence, I have to say.
Oh, if only we'd recorded it, Hendo.
It wasn't pretty. It wasn't
that's
pretty.
what the patrons pay for.
I suppose so. Who needs who actually needs the Smaximum? What they actually need is me getting annoyed when the Smaximum goes wrong.
Would it be
right.
the equivalent if Boris came back?
That was sort of preying on my mind at the same time, so I think that probably pushed me over the edge. I plummeted down the cliff face at that point. 11 for no wicket, 2 overs bowled. Wood is into the attack. He's in. He bowls a usual ball. He's got an egg shot through to the keeper. He has his first ball in the World T20 of 2022. And Mark Wood, before he's even been jingled up, has
He
struck.
gets those wickets.
Although it's been sent to one of these.
I'll be reviewing the opposition, 'cause those reviews exist to extend my career.
I don't think it is being reviewed, Hendo.
I think it is.
They'll say me,
Isn't it?
but it could be more if then it appears.
I'll stop that then, just in case it hasn't. But we'll have another look at it. It looked to me as if the DRS timer was going down and that he was having a little chat. No, he's accepted the decision, Gurbaz. He's on his way. He's made 10. And he is...
The crowd says, the crowd says, the crowd says you're out.
What a start for Mark Wood. What do you make of that? I mean, I thought it was a good ball, but then to actually find that it's found the edge as well. What a start,
He's
Annie.
just a
What
star, isn't he? He does get those wickets.
He does. I think he deserves his jingle.
Definitely.
Do you know Mark Wood?
Bear, can I have more beer,
Yes,
please?
he is an England bowler, quite good and pretty quick. So just a normal guy. Of course, except for just one thing. What? He thinks that he's a horse. What?
Well, he's offered a gallop. He really is. He's taken the first Afghanistani wicket. And Ibrahim Zadran comes to the wicket. Another right-hander. Let's check whether we've got his jingles. Oh, and he's beaten by another scorcher from Mark Wood, who has found his range immediately, which is
And his range, his length, his speed.
He has indeed. That was superb. This is the jingle of the new batsman.
Bow down, fool. Ibrahim's a cry. Wash him at his feet. Ibrahim's a cry. Prostrate yourself. Ibrahim's a cry. He'd probably be uneasy with idolatry. Say it again. Ibrahim's a cry.
That's a great jingle. Brilliant stuff from Mogg there, I think. Wood in, bowls a bouncer. He tries to hook. Could have feathered it down the leg side, hasn't. Is it going to be given as a wide? No, it's just a warning from, not so much a warning, but just information being handed across by
He just
umpire
wants to
Ali
point
Mdot.
his shoulders a lot,
pointing.
doesn't he?
Yeah.
Well, if I was an umpire, I'd be really frustrated that you don't get to do the one short
Yeah, it's a good
often
one,
enough. It's
isn't
a really good one. It's one of my favourite umpiring decisions.
Well,
Of all.
if you were an umpire, you could make it up and say, yeah, that's going to be.
I could actually. When we have the next gorilla game, I'm going to do that. Every time the bear thinks he's got two, I'm going to do one short.
I think that's a good
That'd
job.
be hilarious, wouldn't it?
Those umpire outfits are
Until
very
Bear
big.
takes you with his bat.
Yeah, until the bear sort of. Last time the bear played, I think his trousers fell down. Wood bowls again, looking for the full Yorker. He ends up bowling a full toss, which is driven away through the offside. It's being chased, but I don't think Milan is going to get to it. It's 4 runs for Ibrahim. Now, of course, I should remind you about the GPL. Get on the GPL. You've got 45 minutes to estimate how many runs you think will be scored in this game in total.
Only 30 minutes now.
30 minutes now. You give us £1 for every guess you have. And then if you get it on the nose, you get all the money. And what did we say, 211 quid, was it?
Yep.
211
How much of that's
quid.
yours, Messi? 200?
About 240 is mine, actually.
So get involved. GorillaCricket.com/competition. That's how you go about it. In comes Wood, way wide of the off stump, too much width. But Ibrahim decides to leave, thinks it's a test match. And it's through to Butler. I think he's just slightly astonished at the speed of the ball is coming at him.
Yeah.
90 miles an hour, that from Mark
It's
Wood.
so great to see, isn't it?
It is great to see, but you can't help feeling that he's going to break down after 2 games.
I know, I know.
Stop being such a pessimist.
Well, how can I
He's
not be a
great-
pessimist when I've lost the whole Smaximum? I mean, you know, it's enough to turn you into, you know, and then you hear that Boris Johnson might come back. I mean,
Yeah, but at least Liz Truss has gone.
yeah, but I hated Johnson
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
I even felt a little bit sorry for Liz Truss. Wood in bowls and played into the onside, but defensively only. Milan fields at mid-wicket, and there is no run. What a start from Mark Wood. 1 over, 1 for 4. It's 15 for 1, and Messi has some more
over.
tweets.
Lots of tweets. Alternative Pornbot says 1 foot in the Derwent, like 1 foot in the grave, but moist. Click here for exclusive content. Mogg says those Afghan players have been around long enough that we barely had to do new jingles for anyone. Gimwed sent a lovely photo from Perth Stadium. He's sitting almost exactly where I was sitting a couple of weeks ago for the England-Australia game that was there. It's a really nice spot, actually. Warren says, doing a double take, are you all on now with the omnipotent Hendo, the winger from Down Under, and the one and only Annie? You mean the whinger from Down Under,
The
don't
whinger.
you?
Wokes will bowl his
You
second
didn't
over.
put the H in.
He's coming in to bowl to Hazrat. He bowls him a clever little slower delivery, which he's fooled by and pokes at, and he's fortunate not to get an edge on. Good stuff from Wokes. The score remains 15 for 1. He's bowling. Well, it didn't look like the knuckleball. It was a very clever ball. It just looked like a normal seam delivery, but somehow he managed to get it to come out of the hand much more slowly. Really skillful stuff from Wokes. The bearded Wokes, as he now is, coming in again to Hazrat. Hazrat's trying to turn this, but gets in a tangle. The ball drops out from a bit of edge, a bit of thigh into the offside. Wokes is down quickly to prevent the single.
It does feel a bit like we've got England A team, definitely. It feels like they so long in bowling and batting. It's quite nice to see, isn't it?
On paper, it's a really strong side, absolutely. Absolutely, but you always find that England, like their government, find ways of fouling things up. Wokes in again, and Hazrat is trying to give himself room outside the leg stump, but he follows him a little bit, and he's hasn't got the room to throw the hands through it, and so he just
He's all muscle, isn't
guides
he?
it. He is all muscle. He's all muscle, but he's not muscling it much at the moment.
He really isn't muscling it.
It's very skillful bowling from Chris Wokes, I think, at the
Yep.
moment. and also from Mark Wood, you have to say. It's been a good start for England. They'll be very happy, I would think. Halfway through the 4th over. Wokes is in again. Bowls to Hazrat. He pushes into the offsides, looking for a single, but he won't get it. As Milan just takes a few steps back to take the ball on second or third bounce. And Hazrat has now only got 1 run from the 7 deliveries that he's faced.
Yeah, it's really struggling to get past the field.
It's not the Afghanistan you expect, is it, really?
No.
You do expect them to go, well, I suppose they've been talking to Jonathan Trott. And he said, well, lay the foundation. Lay the foundation.
For the first 20 overs.
The first 20 overs. The first 19.5 overs. Then go crazy. Short, that was a poor ball, I'm afraid, from Wokes. It sat
Got
up.
what it deserved.
Asked to be hit, was lamped over the top of extra cover, and it goes away for one of these.
It's Nissan She. It's Nissan She.
It's got quite a low grip on the bat, has Hazrat. But that one, he just stood up
Big
for
hands.
him. Big hands, big muscles. And that, as you said, and he just got what it deserved. Wokes
Yeah,
into
really
completely
good.
over a fuller ball. He's going to push that up to a deep set mid-off. Going to be able to come through for the single. I think it's Curran who's done the fielding. Decent enough throw. That is the end of the 4th over. Afghanistan put into bat are 20 for 1. Messi.
Jay Grover says, "Oh fuck sticks! There's a chance Annie's going to be on tweets now, isn't there?"
Hey, what are you saying?
And Angelic Scooter says, "Hendo! Oh shit! Does this mean I missed the Tory rant?" And Josie Oak says, "Johnson to be next Prime Minister. Hendo,
Stop it.
go!"
Stop it now. Stop it. You're just chiding me. It's not fair.
Ravi
It's not
Naz
fair.
says, "So Australia proved to be a soggy banana. Will England prove to be better? How many teams have won batting second so far?" I'm not sure, but I can tell you that in the qualifiers, 9 of the 12 games were won by the team losing the toss.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
Oh,
Wood bowls a Yorker. It's dug out by Hazrat up to mid-on. They will get through for the single. 21
So Josh Butler's
for 1.
messed it up by winning the toss then.
Yeah, that's a good point, isn't it?
I've got some gratuitous advice for you, Hendo, too. Jay
Gratuitous.
says, "I really shouldn't encourage alcohol abuse. It's caused vast problems with myself and a generation of family. But I reckon Hendo should get proper wankered. Being sick on the bishop's lap would be cruelly
I don't think poor old
not
bishop.
advisable."
The bishop has just been spraying Ineos on his microphone, so the idea of me throwing up on his lap will not please him. Wonderful ball from Wood, angled in, then nibbling away at 93 miles an hour. How do you play
He's
that?
nearly
Well,
unplayable. at
Ibrahim
present,
doesn't
isn't he?
know. Ibrahim doesn't know how to play that because he's beaten by it. Tremendous stuff from Mark Wood so far. And Afghanistan have struggled to 21 for 1. Well, you don't get
Can
someone
we bowl in both ends?
Now that would be nice, wouldn't it? Could do if it was the
He could in
100.
the 100.
Yes, exactly. You're absolutely right. I don't know what he's brought. Tony has brought something even more scary. What are they? Alcohol pads. I'll just swallow them whole. Wood in bowl short. Oh, well picked up by Ibrahim.
Whoa.
That has gone flying over the man at long leg. It was would have been
Whoa.
right down his throat had he not got it as far as he did, but he did, and it's gone away for one of these. The bear is
That was
also
into the
coming.
second tier, wasn't it?
Do you know, I mean, it's amazing. I put out about 4 calls for more beer from the bear, which he hasn't brought me. But of course, he comes in with his own brew dog in his hand. Hang on, he's got a brew dog in one hand, and what's he got in the other hand? He's got 2 beers.
I don't know.
Well, he aims a big heave at this, does Ibrahim, but it's too quick for him. Goes through at 92 miles an hour to Butler. Why have you got 2 beers, Bear?
2 beers there.
He's got to finish one. He's got another one. You reckon you're going to get through that in 5 overs?
He doesn't want you to have one.
He doesn't. He's mean with his beer. We reckon that all the beer that's sent by Brian 001, he's protesting now. He did bring beer in the other day. I'll give him that. But we reckon that most of Brian 001's beer is still in Crofton Road or whatever it's called. That's what Tony said. That's what Tony said anyway. In comes Wood to bowl to Ibrahim, and he has a little fiddle at this outside the off stump, but he's beaten by it. Of course, Mark Wood has managed to fall over. It wouldn't really be Mark Wood if he didn't throw himself off his feet when bowling. Afghanistan 27 for 1.
Yep.
Annie, before we change at the end of this over, I've got to break it to you. The next tweet, which you'll be picking up, is from Angelic Scooters from 16 minutes ago.
Oh, I'm sure it's
My
a,
Sorry
goodness,
for
but you're rubbish, aren't you, mate?
it's a shame
Yeah,
it's not
I
Jay
am.
Grover. That would have been fun. Annie is on tweets, calling everybody. Annie is on tweets. We're looking forward to that for the next 5 overs. Wood turns to ready to complete his second over. Hurries in past the umpire, wide on the crease, beats the defensive shot of Ibrahim. Goes through to Butler. It's the end of the over. Brilliant start from England. Afghanistan put into bat 27 for 1 from 5 overs.
And there are 20 minutes left on the GPL.
20 minutes left on the GPL.
Oh, and remind me of the amount.
It's 211 quid.
212 pounds.
212 English pounds. Wow, is that worth winning? GorillaCricket.com/competition. That's where you've got to go. Simply register. Guess how many runs are going to be scored. And a pound for every guess. And in the pot.
Right, I'm going to read this tweet now.
Hello, Annie, by the way. Hello.
Hello,
Or you
lovely
just
to see you.
plunge into the tweets and completely ignore
I'm just
me.
going straight into the tweet. Well,
Right.
I'm already 20 minutes behind.
Carry on then.
I am not over.
Carry on then.
Angelic Scooter says, I believe that both of these are true. Australia have never beaten New Zealand in their first meeting in a home World Cup. Tonight was the first time New Zealand's beaten Australia in a men's ICC tournament in Australia. The other 2 occasions the match was in New Zealand. There you are.
Well then, fantastic.
Jay Grover says, fuck's sake, mess. Oh, are we back?
We
Yes,
are.
we're
It's
back.
Chris Wokes back into the attack, bowling to Hazrat, who like Hendo, I just want to call Hazmat. But Hazrat has guided it away into the offside. There's no run.
When Hendo said we didn't have jingles for these people, he was obviously lying. He's just going off the TV because we have Hazratullah Zazai. He sounds like this.
He does. So it's
We have
number
Hazrat.
14 he went for, and his 2 overs so far. That one is a swung at by Hazrat, but it's a little bit of extra bounce takes it through to England captain and wicketkeeper Jos Buttler. 27 for 1.
They are struggling, aren't they?
Oh,
We also have
Afghanistan.
Ibrahim. It's Sadran.
Bow down, fool. Ibrahim Sadran. Wash him at his feet. Ibrahim Sadran. Prostrate yourself. Ibrahim Sadran. He'd probably be an easy with idolatry. Say it again. Ibrahim Sadran.
Yep, 20 years old, from Khost in Afghanistan is Ibrahim Zadran. He's on 10 from 10, a runner ball here. That looks pretty straight. I think it pitched outside leg. It's gone down on the 45 in the end, and they will get a leg by. Sam Curran is the man on duty there. Takes us Afghanistan on to 28 for 1. Now, I caught some of that. I was listening to us in the earlier game. I don't know if you were, Annie. You were on, weren't you? No, you weren't, Annie.
No, I wasn't on. No, I was entertaining.
Oh, you were always entertaining. No doubt
I was
about it.
entertaining people.
But I caught quite a lot of Bennett, and I heard some conversation about, what was it, slappers and grinders. What was
Slappers
that all
and
about?
grinders,
What was
well,
slappers and grinders all about?
It was whether you could have.
It was
hold
led
on.
by Wokes. In, edged! Oh, an edged wide of Butler. A first slip would have swallowed that. As it is, it's gone all the way down to the 3rd man boundary for waking the bear up one of these.
Now,
Yes. What was slappers and grinders all about? You're about to tell me.
different types of batsmen. So batsmen
Oh,
who grind it out, and slappers who just slap it.
I thought it was like the worst named working men's club you could ever possibly go and
Well,
drink in.
You know what? This is an Afghanistan match, and then run out is 14 to 1.
Ooh, okay. Is that good?
Yeah.
That's decent odds, you think? The
Well,
Bears' tip of the
Slappers
day.
and Grinders is a good title for a...
I think it's a great name for a working men's club. Or the pub. That one's tickled off his legs by Ibrahim. Away down to deep mid-wicket. They'll take 2. They'll have to hurry, but they do it comfortably enough. 5 off this Chris Wokes over. 34 for 1. We've got 1 ball left of the power play. I would think, Bear, they would just consider that slightly south of where they'd like to be, wouldn't they?
Oh, God, yeah. They've been quite circumspect, really.
Circumspect indeed. 16 for Ibrahim. He is at least ahead of the run rate. Somewhat behind it is
Beer.
Hazratullah.
Beer is good.
Is the beer good?
Yeah.
Excellent. Is
What
that
beer is
brine
it?
beer? We wait for Wokes. In he comes, swinging wide, and a rather loose waft outside of his off stump by Ibrahim goes through to Jos Buttler. It means it's a dot ball.
It's none for 21 for Wokes. Oh, it's a wide. No. I take it all back. It's been given as a wide. I didn't think it was a wide.
That one over the top of the bat.
I don't think Chris Wokes thinks it's a wide, but
The umpire does.
the ever resolute
That's what matters.
Chris Wokes is not a man to make a fuss about things like this. Sharp haircut as well, and that one has gone wide of the off stump, and it again has been wafted at and missed, and it means at the end of that over we will go back to Annie with Afghanistan 35 for 1.
Mog says, I'm not entirely sure. I want to see a video of Hendo having a nervous breakdown. No, I think that is not something to watch. And Jay Graver says, Hendo demanding beer from the bear makes me irrationally happy. He also says please, which is a nice change.
Well, you know what? He harangued me on the WhatsApp group when I bought him beer, and now he's saying I didn't bring him beer.
Harangued.
He harangued me, yes.
You got harangued.
He did tell me he'd pay for it. He hasn't.
Pirate Badger says, morning old salts and sea does. Oh no, it's Hombre Nuevo.
Hombre Nuevo.
Hendo.
He's. I've met Hombre Nuevo. May I say? He's a very, very talented artist, and a charming fellow to
Done
boot.
lots of our T-shirts.
And he does some fantastic T-shirts.
Does he?
Mm.
Oh.
There you are. Ah.
We've got 14
Hendo,
people.
don't worry about them, Spaxman. In the design company where I used to work, we had saying, if a computer crashed and work was lost, not to worry, you do it better the second time.
Stokes back into the attack.
Here's my run out!
Could have a run out if it hits. It doesn't hit. I hope somebody's backing up. It's been chaos all round. There was a hint, perhaps, that they might appeal for an LBW. Ben Stokes decided correctly not to, but Afghanistan had committed to the run.
Village cricket.
Ibrahim had come flying down the track. He was sent back. He was quite right. It was the left-hander was well outside of his off stump. How far was he? He was well past halfway.
That was
The
14
hit.
to 1.
14 to 1. Have you
God
got
damn it.
Have you got money on it?
Yes.
Oh, the bear. Well, that was you were
A smidgen away from
a coat
75
of
quid.
paint swung and missed. A little bit of extra bounce from Ben Stokes. Through it goes again to Joss Butler. 2 dot balls, none for 2
That is
so
really
far.
struggling.
This is superb from Ben Stokes, who said he was very happy about his role in the team. Bat at 4, bowl the occasional over, he said, as England plan to mix it up. He said he's very clear what his job is. He hasn't warmed up particularly well.
He did in the last game. They got 36 or 15.
Yeah, that last
Yeah,
game. You're talking about
and he-
Pakistan.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
And
a
he
funny.
bowled well
That was
in the first over here. I don't think it's great to have him in the
That's
team.
edged high, and is it going to be taken?
Yeah.
Oh my
What a
word!
catch.
What a
Oh.
catch from Liam Livingston! It was edged high, backward a point. Livingston came flying in. He had to come forward and across. He did. He took an extraordinary worldie of a catch. England have another wicket. Afghanistan are 35 for 2, and Ben Stokes has 1 for 2.
Top edge. For fuck's sake.
It was a
How
top
that?
edge.
It was.
It was a top edge.
Top edge.
What a brilliant selection of jingle.
Excellent.
It's almost like he did it on
Top edge.
purpose.
Well,
For fuck's sake. Oh no, he's out. Excellent.
In fact, that jingle was literally what happened there. Top edge. Oh, no, he's out.
yeah.
Yeah, brilliant.
See?
Amazing. Have you got
Except
a
you
jingle
got
for
a-
literally
except-
every
except-
dismissal?
Oh, no. Well, I've been doing it long enough, Tony. But the good thing about it is the
Trouble is, it's so
the fuck's
real, it
sake in
doesn't
there,
sound
isn't
like
it?
a jingle.
Well,
you know.
precisely. It fools me. Hazrat Azazai, anyway, he's gone. He's gone for 7.
I think it's putting him out of his misery, really.
Yeah, it had been a rather slow and ploddy 7. England had got him
Yeah.
nicely boxed up where they wanted him. There is, though, Annie, I'm going to ask you this one, just because I feel like would be... Well, no, don't panic. It's all right. It's going to be a gentle loosener outside of off stump. There is, of course, a school of thought that if a bloke is mired going nowhere, isn't it best to keep him in? Discuss.
Yes, they should have. What you mean? It's bad for England.
No, quite the
Good
opposite.
for England.
it's good for
Do
England.
you actually want to get... Well, no, actually,
Yeah,
you were right.
Because someone will come in and hit all over the place.
That's my point. If he's
Yep.
going nowhere and
Yep.
struggling, you might as well keep him at the crease because
Yeah, we've
he's
lost the
just
game now.
chewing up balls, as they say.
Yep, we've absolutely destroyed it.
35 for 2. Usman, the new man, is going to be facing the wicket taker Stokes, and he just prods at that, but he prods successfully enough. It goes away to short extra, and they take a single. So Usman's off the mark immediately, which he will be relieved about, I suspect. Superb bowling from
Yeah, it's
England's
great.
Test
From
captain
Stokes,
Ben
yeah.
Stokes.
Yep.
I think I knew maybe he was trying to get it over sort of backward point.
I mean, what you have to think here is that most of these Afghanistan players are these completely foreign conditions.
Well,
how
yeah.
often do they get to play on really fast?
They've
wickets?
lost their last 3 games as well. India, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka, I think. So they haven't come into this tournament at all in the best of form. Stokes, right arm over, forward comes Ibrahim, steered towards Moeen Ali, who is at shortish cover.
I mean, the thing is,
And there's no run.
They do have 2 quality spinners in Mujib and obviously Rashid Khan.
Yes, they do.
But generally their pace bowling is.
Usman Ghani is the new batsman. What can we tell you about him? He's 25. I can tell you that. One of the most
Can you tell us
exciting
anything
young
else,
cricketers
okay?
in Pakistan, in Afghanistan even.
Up to-
Stokes is going to be in right arm over. That one's steered around the corner by Ibrahim, but down to Mark Wood, who is at long fine leg, or just fine leg. It's a
He has
single.
been quite busy in the field, as Mark.
He has 7 overs complete, 37 for 2. Afghanistan. Annie.
O'Neill Harris says, in the first game with Sri Lanka, the second innings looked like they played on a different pitch.
Okay.
Ravi Nair says, I want to write a book of gorilla quotes, and I want to call it Annie's Songs.
Oh, it's a touch of
Why?
John Denver. It's John Denver and his song, wasn't it?
Yeah. Josie Oak says, Annie on tweets, so no big words and short sentences. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Brevity's always good.
Jay Grover says, seriously, Bear, out of order. Shut it, Tony. You're both bad influences on each other and should be separated. They are. They're
What?
terrible.
Who said that?
Who said that?
That was Jay Grover.
What do you mean we're bad?
What have we done
influences,
wrong,
though? What have we
Jay?
done wrong? I like
Well,
beer.
you two are very argumentative. You are like a married couple.
I'm not sure we're going to be
And
invited
you're
to our
morphing
pub
into
again.
each other as well.
Yeah.
Curran, left arm over, new into the attack. We'll jingle him up when the Bears finished his imbibing. And there's no run, just dabbed away to where first slip would have been, but fielded on the bounce by Butler.
Here he is.
Is he a batter or bowler? Sam Curran. What's his distinguishing feature? Sam Curran. His dad's from Zimbabwe. Sam Curran. And he's beloved by Liz Yates. Sam Curran.
I should say.
In he comes again, Sam Curran. Oh, and that was a little fishy edge outside of off stump, but through to Butler it goes. Only ankle height. And again, it's another dot ball. Afghanistan really are rather labouring here.
I should say the first beer I had was a Tooheys old dark ale. which
Oh
is
no,
very
that
tasty.
was a Brian 001.
Yeah, that was a Brian 001.
I
was
like
gonna
a
say.
dark
Thanks
beer.
to Brian, he sends all the beer, and I don't keep it at home. I bring it here, but no,
you
people
did.
don't come in enough. And the ones that do,
the
don't.
ones that do have to drive. That's the problem.
And not only that, Tony Hendo doesn't really like.
In
pale
comes
ale.
Curran. That's nicely got on top of by Ibrahim to steer it down to Mark Wood, who, as Annie pointed out, is busy. This time he's at third man, but the ball seems to be finding him. It's another single to Afghanistan. It's 38 for 2, just the one off this Curran over. Now his brother has excelled at Perth Stadium. 2018 he got a 5-for against Australia in an ODI.
We've had 25 entries for GPL already. We've got 10 minutes to
Wow.
get in.
Wow. And remind me of the amount again.
Well, it started off at 211, so now it's about 223, 222.
Wow, fantastic. Oh, that's short outside of leg stump though. Is that going to be given as
No,
a
I don't think
wide? No, it's not. He's got away, so just one single. This is
How
fine
did
bowling by Sammy Curran.
They're 38 for 2 after 7.4 overs, and the score predictor came up with about 134.
Well, you have to allow for some acceleration.
Well, yeah, this is what I worry about with Afghanistan. There isn't much.
Well, we shall see. They have had a.
I mean, they've got Rashid Khan hits
the
it a long
greatest
way.
of warm-ups.
Rashid
In
and his
comes
helicopter.
Curran. That's down leg, and that's steered fine off his hips by Usman, and that will get 4 runs. Rather blotted the copybook of what was otherwise a fine over from Sam Curran.
Indeed.
Takes Afghanistan
I mean,
on
they,
to 42 for 2.
they're getting way too many dots. I mean, other teams, even with this bowling, they wouldn't have had this many dots. And there'd have been so many more singles.
He did play that nicely though, very deft, wristy.
Yeah, but they're only playing
Guided.
shots off balls that you can get runs off. They're not manufacturing singles off of balls.
In comes Curran. That is fenced, but fenced to the man at backward point,
good
or
bit of
really sort of
fielding.
deepish gully. It means it's a dot ball to close the over, so there's 5 from it. And we go back to the liquid
it's
tones
me and my
of Annie.
tweets. Jay Grover says, I swear Slappers and Grinders is a Mac Ladd song.
Could be. Sweaty Betty was another one.
So I was thinking of wheel tappers and shunters when I heard it. But
I bet you were.
And there's the classic beer and sex and chips and gravy.
Dave
was
Wood
that your night
says-
last night?
Let me do these.
Sorry,
things,
Annie.
otherwise,
sorry,
you know.
sorry.
Dave Wood says, "Come on, Annie, you're only 3 prime ministers behind on tweets. Oh, it's nothing, is it? Easy." Jay Graver says, "No, Tony and Annie, the bloody sniggered twins."
Oh, well, there you go. It's because you make me
What
chuckle.
you mean?
You bring sunshine into people's lives. I mean, that's a wonderful trait.
This is probably
You should be proud of that.
This is probably actually a bad move, I reckon. But hey, let's see what happens.
Well, we are. Change of bowling.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be
on the 45.
in he comes. Guided into the offside by Ibrahim.
Onside.
They take one.
On the
Onside.
scorecard,
Oh,
they
did
have
it? You're right.
Elliot
Yes,
instead.
yes. Onside, yeah.
Off his legs, Tone. Off his
It's
legs.
all right.
That
I would have got
you two,
away with that
honestly.
if it hadn't have been for
Well, you would have done.
my
'cause
pesky co-commentator.
well, you would have done anyway because you're on radio and no one can see.
Well, exactly. Arguably, the second best Rashid in this game is going to be in again.
Oh, that's true.
Probably not even arguably, and that one's pulled by Ibrahim very much into the on-side where it is fielded at deep mid-wicket by... It wasn't Alex Hales, actually. It was someone who ran in front of him, so I couldn't
I'm
quite
gonna-
see who it was. It's another single.
I'm going to go for a run out again. I swear there's a run out in this game.
Are the odds still 14 for 1?
Yeah, they usually stay to remain because it's method.
43 for 2 Afghanistan.
10 to 1 in these two.
They've crept up over 5 and over now. Forward prod from Usman away to Moeen Ali, who's at short cover. And there is again no run. 2 dots and a single. Adil Rashid will happily take that, I reckon. 5 for Usman, 19 for Ibrahim. Usman facing, crashed past cover, but there's a man out in the deep. And it is that Sami Curran down there? I think it
so.
was. I think it was. Yes, it was. Sami Curran. 58 on his back.
See, we don't have knackle to send around number packs, do we?
Well, do you know what? And I haven't missed them,
No.
oddly. It's hard to believe.
I never looked at them.
As well, you don't look at any notes.
Yeah.
Rashid in again. It's a leg break. It's guided. England have got that offside field pretty well placed. There is a man at short third. There is a man at a very short backward point.
I think they've got I think they've got too many fielders actually, because they seem to be everywhere.
Or that they're bowling to their field, which is, I mean, it's been very fine bowling. And this one is steered away to a wideish mid-on. They thought about 2, decided against it. Means the over finishes with a single. Afghanistan 46 for 2 after 9. Wonderful Annie, St Annie.
Leah says, "As a German, I am physically unable to rein in my verbosity. The use of convoluted sentences and the use of perfectly cromulent words." Thank you,
Ich
Leah.
bin displaced Beschränkung.
Just a note for Hendo. I finished that beer inside 9 overs.
Was that your target?
No,
Oh,
but he
sounded-
said, "Can you drink that what you had left in space of 5 overs?" Of course.
And you did.
Yeah.
Okay, well done.
Oh, well, easy. Jay Graver says, "I think Bear is being a good influence, if only because he's too lazy to bring Hendo a beer."
Ah, you
Yeah.
could argue that. Well, I did buy the beers on the way here, I recall, and there is a
Well, he got
large.
you to buy them too, did he?
There's a large. No, I offered. I'm all heart. And there is a large cobra in the fridge.
Yes.
There's
The
a
beer,
large
not
cobra
the
in the
actual
fridge.
not the actual snake.
Oh.
In comes Ben Stokes. Forward comes Ibrahim. Pushed back to the bowler. There's no run. England have kept the Afghanistani genie well and truly in the bottle, seeing as we were talking about
Well,
bottles at the
they are.
moment.
Well, as Hendo noted at the beginning, they are coached by Jonathan Trott.
Well, so far, you could certainly see that influence of Trotty. 9.1 overs bowl, 47 for 2. England, I think, will be happy with their work so far. They won't worry too much about the wickets column. That's swing and a miss. It did swing away from Ibrahim. Butler dives to his right. Gimlet-eyed, athletic, but not in the same degree of good booksedness as he was with Annie, given his somewhat misplaced comments about the value of county cricket.
Who?
Yeah, no,
Josh Butler.
I turned to Stokes instead. I'm much more.
Well, you can imagine that from Butler, can't you? He's hardly played a red ball game in years.
Well,
has he?
yeah, I mean,
I mean,
he
No,
signed a
he's
new
played
Lancashire
very
contract
few.
and it literally never turns up. So as that one's short, Ibrahim again looks to pull. There might be a signal of the 1-3 over, yes.
Really,
And indeed,
that was
given as
wide.
a wide by Alim Dar at square leg.
That
I
wasn't
think
really
that's
a
harsh.
wide.
That's not Alim Dar actually. It's Chris Brown.
That wasn't
But I
wide.
still think it was harsh. Mr. Brown went off to town and gave a wrong decision there, in my opinion.
I mean, this is it. Just doesn't really want to play red ball cricket, so it's hardly surprising that he would say something like that.
Exactly, and it was Milan as well. who
Stokes in
did-
again. That's driven powerfully and effectively way past extra cover for
That's
4
nice.
runs by Ibrahim. That was a good shot. Brings up the 50. 52 for 2.
In the 10th over. It's not great, is it?
Well, no. I mean, just in isolation, that was a terrific shot. But
Yeah.
Afghanistan does rather need to have done a
They
few
need
more
to-
of them.
They need to step on it a little bit. I mean, I went
They
under
really do, yeah.
122.
By the way, there was, Annie, a huge amount to admire in the footwork from Ibrahim there, don't you think?
Absolutely beautiful shot. It just looked very
Stokes,
classy. In
Fuller,
fact, he-
driven backward a point this time. I don't think it's going to go all the way. They will get 2 though. Sorry, Annie, you can finish your point.
No, I was just going to say he kind of hovered there afterwards, didn't he? As if, you know.
He did.
Show.
It was one of those. If you know you've hit a good shot, one tends to hold the pose because
Yeah.
you just
Like
know
Madonna.
it's a natural. It's just a natural reaction somehow as a batsman. 28 for Ibrahim. He's still just snaking slightly ahead of a runnable, but not by much. As is Usman, 6 off 5 for him. 54 for 2
It might be
Afghanistan.
a slow scoring match. We don't know.
Well, that's true. Stokes in onto the back foot goes Ibrahim. Again, he guides to the man who's down there at short third man or deep backward point, whichever way you want to look at it. And that's another single. 55
England are
for
perfectly
2.
capable of going in and not scoring.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, they are.
will they open with Rashid Khan?
Do you know what? I've been having so much fun. All of a sudden, there's only one
Is it?
ball left of
Yeah,
our stint.
exactly.
Gang.
Oh my
Where,
goodness, is there?
Yeah.
where did that go? It's going to be Bear Messi and Owl on next.
I'll tell you what, these T20s, they go far too quickly.
They do go too quickly.
Yeah.
Ben Stokes, unless of course there's a no ball. What's Ben Stokes going to deliver? He is going to deliver one that's quite full, slapped straight to Moeen Ali at cover. So we finish with a dot ball after 10 overs. Afghanistan are labouring somewhat at 55 for 2. I think England will be happy.
They
And I
will
take my
indeed.
Where
lead.
are we up to, Annie?
We're up to PJ Mead.
Oh, right, umpiring. Excellent. Okay.
Lovely
Go for it.
photo.
I think
Yeah.
we've got a drinks break now, so you can crack on through. See you later,
Oh,
Annie.
brilliant.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. See you, Annie. Good to see you. PJ Mead says, hello, Gorillas. Over the summer, I umpired a great game at Lords that featured Rashid Khan opening to bowling to Joss Butler. Just saying. It was exciting stuff. Things are a bit slow for now, but I'm hoping for an acceleration later. And he sent us a lovely picture of Joss and Rashid in their JP Morgan shirts. I'm sure you got some JP Morgan gear as well, PJ. At Lords. That's pretty impressive, actually. Not too many people are going to have that in their CVs. That's great. Jay Grover says, in the Guerrilla Cricket version of Viz Comic, both Tony and Annie are Finbar Saunders, which means nothing to me, but I'm sure it does
Can't
to
remember
several
Finbar.
of you. The alternative porn bot says, will Afghanistan avoid the reach around? I mean, follow on? Oh dear God. And Leah says, I once finished a beer between 2 deliveries by a spinner, no less. Bottoms up there. What's all this macho beer drinking shit?
It's not macho.
Josie Oak says, smash a beer in 10 seconds.
Well, exactly. I mean, beer doesn't take that long to drink.
No, it's true. And Jay Grover says, Christ, I'd never considered the ego clash of Knuckles sending Tony notes. Glad I was 300 miles away from that passive-aggressive Krakatoa. Yeah, Knuckles... yeah. Let's go there. Let it be said that an awful lot of work was done. Whether it was appreciated or not is another question entirely.
I was never a big one for numbers. I like to, recognise players by their face and their build.
And the trouble is, actually stopping to find the sheet with the numbers on, then looking to see who was what number. By the time he looked it all up, the screen had changed completely, and it was too late anyway.
Exactly. You just got to
Steve,
start to learn to know teams, haven't you?
Yeah. Are we back live?
No, this is West Indies playing.
Oh
India.
no, that's West Indies. Steve Shitcott says cromulent. Good word. Yeah, it's an excellent word, cromulent, isn't it?
What's cromulent mean?
Cromulent.
Yeah.
I can't remember now, but I just like
It's
the
a
sound.
good word.
It's sort of onomatopoeic almost, isn't it?
Yeah.
Warren says it's Annie hoping for the clock to go back so she's up to date with tweets. That's a bit unfair. Annie handed over to me less behind than it was when she picked it up. So there you go. And Farong says, were they the standard Munich size of 1 litre beers?
Not 1 litre.
Yes, and WG Rumble-Pants is with us. It says, please don't, it's marvellous.
Don't what?
Don't what? Don't rein in your verbosity, Leah. That's what he's saying.
Oh, okay. We are back live now, Messi. First ball was heaved out to point for a single. Second ball is a googly, which is hoiked, really. I think he was looking to cut it and it came into him. Shanked it up to long on for a single. It was it was a top spinner, really. He got a glove in the end.
Certainly it wasn't the shot in his mind, was
No,
it?
it certainly wasn't. You'd imagine that actually Afghanistan will probably feel more comfortable against Adil Rashid than they do against the Pacers, I'd have thought. So that's played up to long on once more for another single. At least they can milk singles off the spinner. As Adil Rashid comes in once more. That's too short. Hoiked into the leg side. A bit aerial for a while. Let's go between two players. They'll probably get 2 for that. They do indeed.
Good pick up and throw in the deep, that wasn't it? All
Yeah.
one-handed. All one-handed, one motion from Livingston there.
Both New Zealand and England have fielded, really well.
Extremely well.
I mean, Australia fielded okay, but I mean, they dropped Finn very early. And he went to get on, 45 off 15, 16 balls.
Yeah.
Tossed up, dragged down to long on. He'll get himself another single. Stokesy's down there. I think Stokesy's bowled well.
It's amazing what the difference in mindset. Like as the ball comes out of Rashid's hand, you can kind of see the, it's like the eyes light up, and then 22 yards later, it's not quite where it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
It's limping a bit, Stokes, in that replay.
That one stands up a little bit. It's just forced out to deep cover, and it'll be a single. 12 off 2 overs for Adil Rashid. 62 for 2 after 11. I've got them under 122.5 at 7 to 4.
Well, it's you. There's an expectation that there'll be an acceleration, but there's absolutely no evidence about the fact of where that's going to come from.
Well, I think that's my point. That's why I went for it. It's still going to be reasonably close, but someone has to be explosive at some point. Someone's got to take the bowling on, haven't they? I mean, Zazai's been out in 32 or 31. He's been out for 31 balls. You've got to, they've only lost 2 wickets. You've only got 9 overs left. You've got to give it a bit of hump to. There it goes. Goes up in the air. Shit. It's my run out gone. It's been caught by Moeen Ali chasing back from cover.
Tell you what, very good catch.
It was a very good catch. He was running back.
It looks really simple, but that went very high.
It went very high
over his shoulder,
and he's taken it over his shoulder, running back. He stopped on his shot, did Ibrahim, and therefore just blocked it straight up in the air. It was a cutter. I think he thought it was coming on a bit more, and he caught it on the toe end, stopped his shot. It went straight up in the air. Moeen Ali chasing it back just out of the 30-yard circle from cover, takes an easy catch, and that is a wicket. What should I give him? That one.
The crowd says, you're out.
Zadran goes for 32 or 32.
So, can I ask a question of the pair of you? So which bowler would you look to target then?
What from a Pakistan point of view? I would
no, from
probably-
an England point of view. Yeah, which English bowler would you be looking to? Because
I
either
honestly do
Afghanistan have
think.
made them all look like world beaters, or
Well, this is it. I think for
Yeah.
the Afghanistani batsman, I'd be probably looking to target Adil Rashid because he's the bowler
Yeah,
I'm
that's
most
what I was
familiar
going to
with.
say. Especially on this wicket. It's not a particular spin-friendly wicket. There's some bounce there. Which you
And
could use,
yeah,
but-
and they probably practice against that type of bowling more and more
yeah.
often. More used to it. I mean, they struggle with Wood. I mean, the other guys, I don't know how quick their quickest bowlers are, but I mean, Woody up in the mid-90s they probably don't get to face that often. Sammy Curran is in. That's straight. And this just works into the leg side mid wicket. Moeen only picks it up. It'll be a single. 63 for 3.
You have to say this is a very soft opening for England, which is, no bad thing as long as they don't think they've got it made simply because they thrash them.
Yeah. Usman Ghani is the next bounceman in. I will find him. There he is. He has a jingle that sounds like this.
Usman Ghani, handsome like a carny. Usman Ghani opens the batting like a monstrosity.
We had 26 entries for the GPL, ranging from 213 up to 420. Emily Elizabeth, I think you're well out there, man.
She went big.
She went very big. Were you watching?
was she trying to? Is that an aggregate of both games?
No. This one. 64 for 3.
You've got to bear in mind it's 7 o'clock in the morning. In
Yeah,
the US,
that's
so
true.
She might, yeah.
Maybe, but, wishful thinking and all that. Ducked underneath. It's a dot ball. As Curran bowls at Najib.
She did get a big spread though.
Hold on.
She's
It said Usman Ghani, but it's not Usman Ghani. That's why I'm getting confused. They haven't had 2 different batsmen, have they?
no.
It's Najib Zadran is out there.
Yeah.
That'll be a wide.
Was it? Yeah, it was a wide. It's given us a wide.
It has to be.
I have to tell you, gentlemen, what a luxury it is for me having this live on free to air. So instead of relying on a really jerky Zoom feed or doing a feed online that's 20 seconds behind, I can actually watch it at the same time on a proper big TV
That's nice, isn't
without having to put up with all the shit. It's so nice. Isn't it?
it? You wish you had it all the time. It's actually Najibullah who's coming to bat.
Oh, you can't bowl away to Najibullah. He'll eat it all up and then demand more. You can't bowl away to Najibullah. He'll just hit a 6 and fuck up all your shit.
Wow.
Very cosmopolitan.
Indeed. Oh, now he's just dropped it down in front of him as Najibullah, and then sort of taking a good few steps down the track. He's just played it basically straight to Sam Curran. He gets a little bit excited, but Najibullah gets himself back, and there is no run. What the hell?
Maybe if Curran hadn't pirouetted in the middle of his pickup
Yeah,
match.
what was he thinking? I mean, literally just dropped it down straight out of the bowl and then set off for a run. Fortunately, he realised it wasn't on early enough. They've only had
So I just want
three
I
off
want
the
to tell you that the score predictor just came up with 136, which would mean a winning GPL score for me if England won by 1 run.
Well,
So I'm
let's
happy
hope that
with
doesn't happen. Sam West played square on the offside. The bank doesn't.
Wow.
The bank doesn't like that. When I need under 122 and a half with the bookies, I went for the. I didn't go for the line. I went under the line by 10 runs. 7 to 4. I think it's reasonable.
Wow.
I mean, they've only got 65 off 12 overs.
That's true. But they've
Actually-
only lost 3 wickets.
I mean, yeah, they have only lost 3 wickets, but no one's looked like they're getting on with it. Najibullah can hit a long ball.
The weird thing will be how it looks is like when you're looking at the scorecard, and it's like they scored 123 for 5.
As Adil Rashid comes in for his 3rd over. It's just plopped out on the offside for a single by Usman.
Because you could turn around and go, oh, they got 123 all out. Okay, I can understand that bit of the collapse. But the idea that they didn't accelerate and they still had wickets in hand and stuff like that, that becomes really weird to kind of view that in the context of what T20 is.
Well, yeah, but it also says, you know, as much to Afghanistan's, you know, experience that's worked into the leg side.
Well,
And
but they are in
only a
it.
single.
But that's the thing in terms of T20 and international T20, they are experienced.
Well, they're
No.
reasonably experienced. There are some very experienced players. I mean, you know, obviously you've got your Rashid Khans and your Mujibs who play in the IPL and T20 tournaments around the world. That one's played back to the bowler, and Rashid can't stop it.
Was that a drop or was that a
No,
stop?
I don't think it was a drop. I think it bounced just before it got to him. They get through for 1 run. But then you've got other players who probably don't play that much. You know, they're not in a lot of T20 tournaments. And they don't get to play a lot of, you know, they might get to play a lot of international cricket, but not against the really highly ranked teams and away from home. That's it, straight by Najibullah. I mean, that's what he's capable of. It's gone over the long off, pretty straight, and it's one of these.
Was that the third six of the innings, maybe? Second?
Maybe second. There haven't been a lot of boundaries full stop, have there?
No.
It was given a little bit of air. It was pretty full.
That was the third.
And
Well,
it's a decent shot.
There's been no twos either, has there? So
Yeah, well, that's the thing, and they missed out on a fair few singles. Steps back, cuts that out to deep. Ooh, that's now that. Well, the stumps were taken, but I don't think the ball took them. I think that Joss Butler's glove took the stumps and made them light up. But
Livingston's got a
they
cannon
got
of an
two
arm.
there. That was a risky two, though. Went straight to the player. Oh, should I go for another under? Maybe I'll just go for a third run out. I feel like
I hope you've noticed there is a very serious clash between the pink of the umpire and the red of the English kit. I don't think that should be allowed on the same screen.
I'm gonna chase one more run out because I just feel like it. That's played out to long on.
this is very loose betting.
It is. I don't
Isn't
know
it?
why I'm doing it
is.
really.
It's pretty poor example to set our
It
young
is.
listeners. isn't
I
it,
just
Alan?
fancy a run out. I bet you this one won't be a run out and the next one will,
Then why have you bet on a run out then?
because you get
Because
good odds.
He likes the odds.
It's 10 to 1.
Okay, I better
Don't
just
chase your
tweets.
bets, kid.
No, don't chase your bets. I just fancy Afghanistan. I fancy a run out. That's all.
Sorry, PJ Mead sends us another photo from Lords saying the best take-homes from this season's umpiring at Lords were the photos. Che says, Annie, not thou as shy as messages. From these molehills thou shalt become mountains. Leah says, believe it or not, standard size of beer in Munich is 0.5 litres. The 1 litre is kind of Oktoberfest sort of thing.
Yeah,
Colin
half a
says,
litre is about a pint, isn't it, basically?
Yeah. Jay says, pretty sure the ship has sailed on what messes as Alan think of Knackle. I literally sent 23 Twitter messages to Jeremy saying, is this a skit? You're live, before I realised I had no clue how to use Twitter and I'd sent them all to myself. Clusterfucker. Oh, don't remind me.
Wood
of
is
that.
in, and Usman has head down a wicket, and Najibullah hasn't come. I think there was a single there, and I think that's
Well-
what they're missing out a little bit.
I think there's been at least 3 or 4 of those where you could turn around and make a 1 into a 2 or a dot ball. You know, there were some balls that were taken right at the edge of the boundary circle, and in the first game from both teams,
You get a
they're
single.
singles.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's where they're a little bit inexperienced. That's partly why I've gone under 122. They're not taking singles that they should do. He would have been in had it hit the stumps. Not a bad throw from Adil Rashid though. As Woody comes in to bowl to Zaza, he knocks it out into the offside. Knocks it out into the deep. They'll just be a single. See again, they're getting a bit tetchy there. And they've come back for the second. Oh, and it's thrown to the bowler's end. That's good running. Never run off a misfield. And they did, and they got there. Close though.
I think that saying does not apply in T20. I think you should run on a misfield generally.
Well,
speaking, in
yeah,
T20.
probably. I mean, everyone's up for it, aren't they, in the T20? Everyone's
Yeah.
on their toes for that second. Run rate's finally hit 6. in the 13th over, 14th over.
Well, that'll get him to 120.
Well, I need under 122.5. That's just played out to the offside again. Once more to that man and a point. That'll be a single.
I know it's early, but Mark Wood looks like he's on it, doesn't he?
Yeah.
You know,
he looked good in the warm-up games. He looked good in Pakistan. It's bound to break down.
well, nah.
You and Hendo the same. Every game he's played, he's been brilliant.
Yes.
And I see no reason to believe that he's going to break down.
Well, if you consider as well that in some of the games they could play him and Timel at the same time, you know.
Yeah.
I worry about Tyrell Mills, though. Tyrell Mills isn't, you know.
He's up and down like a yo-yo.
Yeah. I mean, he's got the pace, but he really doesn't have the direction. That looks like he got a bit scared there. Najib backed away and fenced the ball out to the offside, and there's no run.
There's a famous baseball story about a pitcher in the 1920s called Walter Johnson who could throw at about 97, 98 miles an hour. The batsman takes the first 2 strikes and then starts heading back to the dugout. And the umpire tries to call him back and says, "Actually, no, it's only strike 2." He goes, "You have the 3rd one. I can't do anything with it." and that's what it looked like. It was just like, I want no part of this.
Yeah, he's got one over left as well. I presume they'll bowl him a little bit later. That's just knocked into the leg side. They head off for the single. Oh, and kicked at the stumps by Woody. And they get through for the single.
Your bet's looking really hopeful, actually.
Well, precisely. I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? And there are certain teams you go, nah. Can you see this happening? It's like there was a time after Broad got hit in the face all those years ago, where he was always out, LBW or bowled, because basically they bowled him a load of short stuff and then they'd pitch one up. They had a good chance that he'd miss it and get bowled, and there was a good chance that he'd just, miss it and it had hit his pad. And I got a few. There was about a year or so afterwards where when Broad came in, you could get about 6 to 1 on him being bowled, and sort of 4 or 5 to 1 on LBW, so you could kind of hedge your bet a bit. Got a few of those in. And there are certain teams you fancy.
Sometimes they go with overall stats and they haven't looked at the.
Yeah, precisely. Wood is in short. It's not going to be given as a wide. It's quick.
No,
91
miles an hour.
And it's a dot ball. Only 4 runs off that over. And that was the 14th. We got one more over in this little configuration, followed by Al's going to take over the ball. Brian's coming on. Is he in the waiting room? He is. There you go. I've reminded myself.
Jay says, we knew you'd target Rashid Bear, you utter bastard. He could have played 100 tests. And Leah says, me bragging about how fast I can drink a beer can't by definition be macho. I'd probably describe it as pretty butch there. I think there's a semantic argument to be had there about whether women can be macho and men can be feminine,
Can it be facho?
Anyhow.
Can it be facho though? Rather than macho?
Sorry, I've just lost my spot. I'm Renuevo. So, did I hear it right? Is Trent Boult now retired from international Test cricket? I don't believe it's to spend time with his family, so he can lord it over Anderson as keeping the record for the most runs scored by an active number 11.
Are you coming in for Hendo? Hit straight up in the air. Oh man, he's going to be out caught. My run out's done. Oh, really good catch
What
from
a
Adil
catch.
Rashid. He's tried to hoik it into leg side as Najib. He hasn't got hold of it. It's gone way up in the air. Adil Rashid's had to run back from mid-on. Not one of the greatest fielders in the England side, but that's an absolutely cracking catch. He's had to run back and he's dove back and managed to cling onto it just above the ground. And you have to say, that was a cracking catch.
Top edge, for fuck's sake. Oh no, he's out. Excellent. Top edge, for fuck's sake. Oh no, he's out. Excellent. Top edge, for fuck's sake. Oh no, he's out. Excellent.
That was a really good catch.
That's a great catch.
Again, running back over your shoulders, never easy. It's harder than Moen's one. Less time to get there.
Right.
Bear,
what's
is
the under?
James waiting to come in?
No.
Oh, he should be.
No, on my rotor I've got Al, Brian and Hendo.
Oh, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one.
You're looking at the one from earlier.
Yeah, I'm tired and confused.
It's all right. So am I. And now I've had a couple of beers. That's kind of calm me down in one way, and in another, it's not great. Yeah. I think I'm going to go home after this and have a nice little snooze on the sofa.
You're going to have a bit of a lie down, are you?
Yes, I think so. I think it's only fair. Oh shit, Liverpool are playing as well, aren't they? We're only the only game.
They're playing against Nottingham Forest Football Club.
What score?
What do I think the score will be, or what is the score?
Didn't they start at 12:30?
I think so. I don't know what the score is.
Oh, I better go and check that out.
I shall tell you in a second. The score is 0-0 after 36 minutes.
Okay. Stokesy in. Oh, beats the outside edge. He's into his last over. He's got 2 for 12. That's not bad. Beats the outside edge through to the keeper. The new batsman is another one we all heard of. It's Nabby. The only thing is I've got to find his jingle. Mohammed Nabby.
I tell you what,
This
at
is a
this
good
rate,
jingle.
nobody's going to be eligible to win the GPL at all.
And they saw that he was good. He came to play with bat and ball with a style like silk and wood. When losers say shit house, well, you know that it's a lie. The gods made Muhammad Nabi, and he's never gonna die.
I thought Nabby had retired. Or was that one of the others?
Some of these batsmen, they retire more often. You know, the only thing that's retired more than them is Frank Sinatra. So.
His last ball, his second ball was worked into the leg side and he got himself a single.
More comebacks than Blue Eye.
Stokesy. Is he captain, Mohammed Nabby? Stokes in. Slower ball, full. Trying to work it into the leg side. Is Usman Zaza? Usman Zaza? No, Usman Zaza. Ghani. He gets a leading edge back to the bowler anyway, and there's no run. See,
Neil Harris says, I just saw Curran go at 134 kph. I thought he was only medium pace. He's bowling faster than Broad and Anderson's present speed.
Yeah.
I'd say that's the top of his range, and generally speaking, he's much the same as Broad and Anderson's speed.
Yeah, I mean, when you're bowling when you've only got to bowl for, oh, that's a good pickup. Oh, is it a good pickup? It is. The fucking man's in. Idiot. Picked up over square leg. It would have been caught because it bounced well inside the boundary, but weirdly, square leg was kind of halfway outside the circle, I think, because I didn't see before the ball was bowled.
Yeah, a good
But not all the way
30
back.
yards inside the crease.
Yeah, a bit of a weird position for square leg to be in. He's in kind of no man's land. He would have caught it if he'd been on the boundary, but he wasn't. And it's bounced over him, or gone over him, bounced inside the boundary, but it has gone for floor. Is that a little dance there? Was that a bit of dad dancing from Toner off camera? He's done it again, he's pulled it. This time the man's not there. But he is. Good bit of fielding by. Is that Chris Jordan's come on for sub-fielding, I think? I don't think he went over the boundary. They got back for 2. It is Chris Jordan. He's come on for somebody. Or is he in the side? No, Chris Jordan's not playing, is he? 'Cause he's a
Chris
bowler.
Jordan isn't part of the 11.
No, and they come back for 2, and that's the end of the over. Switcheroo. Al's going to take over. Brian's coming on, and Hendo is actually going to look like Tony.
Is he now? Hiya, Brian. You all right, mate? Well, they perform the Sydenham 2-step to get themselves back in position. Brian, you are on mute if you are talking, sir.
I mean, I wasn't, but I don't know that I would have said anything interesting.
Well, Brian, you have a voice like a man who went out last night and had a couple of drinks.
I have a voice like I'm trying to talk not too loud because I have a 2-year-old in the other room.
Aha! Mark Wood will bowl the 16th over, his 4th. That is a swing and a miss at a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. And Afghanistan just aren't being given the opportunity to play the way that we know they can, Tony.
No, and you have to say England have fielded well. They've taken 2 stupendous catches in the deep. One by quite unlikely one. Well, but one superbly. Was it Moeen Ali? And the other one by Adil Rashid. So they've fielded really sharply too.
That is right. Wood cramps Nabby up for room. He's able to squirt this ball away to, well, conventional square leg. And by the time the fielders converge 2 runs have been taken. Well ran by the 5th wicket pair for Afghanistan.
State of this corner, there's like old plates and
Yeah, it's best if you don't look.
coffee mugs and
Yeah.
oh dear.
Yeah.
I'll concentrate on the match, I think.
Does it
that's
look
how-
like I was going to say, does it look like a bear's been there?
Does it? That's how penicillin was invented. Remember that?
Fleming, was it Fleming? Alexander
was.
Fleming, yeah, it was.
That's a disgustingly sparse crowd, isn't it?
It's a big stadium.
It's
for
not very well filled.
Two teams not including Australia.
Wood in, and that is an
it's
amazing catch
Wow.
by Josh Butler. Dear me.
Add that to the
I
list
have-
of great catches.
I have been fortunate today to see 2 world-class catches, one in the first game, and this one to a ball flicked down the leg side. Butler has flown like Clark Kent out of a telephone booth to take this. Oh, yes.
I'm a loser. Yeah, I'm a loser, babe. I'm just a loser.
That was special.
It was.
That was stunning. Tony.
That was right out of top shelf.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue it would have been speared down leg had Mohammed Nabi not tickled it around the corner. Then maybe it was even a wide, but he did. But Josh Butler, you know, as we were saying earlier, Adil Rashid, Moeen Ali, add Josh Butler to that list. England have held their catches quite stupendously, and that was the 3rd of them. Well done, Josh Butler.
That was stunning stuff.
I may as well get caught up if
go
since
for it.
I'm here. We're a little behind. Leia, good morning. Linux Leia says, I think Afghanistan have the 3rd most BBL players out of all teams in the tournament, Bear. Pirate Badshaw, good morning. Ireland have been Najib bullied so many times it would be refreshing to see it happen to England, hopefully. Jay Grover, good morning, Jay. Loosh betting. I don't know what that is. O'Neill Harrison, with the current political turmoil, how soon would it be before the GPS in US dollars to lock in higher rates? And we're back to play.
Wood in. Azmat's the new bowler. He's managed to bunt this down the ground. It's gone through Wood. It's going to beat Rashid. It's going to go for 4.
With the super shatter, super shatter, super shatter, super shatter, super shatter, rocka, rocka, super shatter.
It's always the good thing if you've got the facing bowling at 95 miles an hour. You don't really have to hit it too hard in order to be able to get it to go where you need it to go.
Well, this is very much the good thing and the bad thing about pace bowling in limited overs cricket. I mean, it certainly was too good for Pakistan, where Wood's figures were magnificent, weren't they?
I mean, don't get me wrong. He's got 2 balls left of his 4 overs, 2 for 21, ridiculous. As this is just tucked around the corner, Stokes is going to let that go to the boundary fielder. Just a single. It's the accuracy to go with the pace, isn't it, really? Because you can be fast but all over the shop and it doesn't really matter. You might not turned up, but Wood's been so accurate.
Yeah, that is very much a winning combination. I was just trying to find his figures against in the Pakistan series. Give me a moment, but suffice to say they're extremely impressive. 3 for 24 and 3 for 20, which in just 4 overs allotted is really not bad, is it?
Nope, certainly
then
not.
3 for 34 versus Australia, just slightly more expensive.
Usman just guides the ball down to 3rd man. There'll be a single. He'll retain the strike. He's on 23. Woods 4 overs are finished. 2 for 23. Fabulous figures. Afghanistan not out of second gear. 97 for 5 with just 4 overs left to go.
Well, that 2 for 23 sits very tidily alongside 3 for 24, 3 for 20, and 3 for 34.
Yep.
Superb effort.
Right.
Jay says, I forgot to say congratulations to Alan, the first OG gorilla, not the style in interesting shades of dun gray. Warren, good morning, Warren. The Afghanistan running is just toying with the bear. Mog saying you're getting a lot of miles out of that top edge Jingle Bear. It's actually one of my favorites, and we're back to play.
Rashid in. Usman comes down the track, bemused. It goes down to the 45 on the leg side. I think that's going to end up being a leg bye.
Looked like the googly, didn't it?
It looked
from
like
Rashid.
I was going to say it looked like he really didn't know where it was going.
That's easy to sit here and say it looked like the googly, but as you rightly say, I'm not sure he picked it.
Yeah, I don't stand a chance of picking it. I mean, everything would just end up being mystery ball. Rashid in. This one, the conventional ball pushed out into the offside field. There was a think of a 2, but wisely, as Moeen Ali had the ball in his hand at the time, sent back and just limiting things to singles. 99 for 5. Rashid coming in for his third ball of this fourth over. This too short, pulled away. But Livingston is there, sort of deep mid wicket. And you don't take on Liam Livingston's arm. So that'll be just 3 singles off 3 balls so far. The 100 up for Afghanistan. Jamie's in the 17th over. Again, too short for Rashid. Pushed down the ground towards long on. They'll continue the milking of singles. But singles are fine for England. Maybe not for the Bear, under 122.5, but certainly fine for England. This boa constrictor like fielding and bowling performance. A huge move over to the offside and a whip to leg. It's gone over Mark Wood at a short fine leg, and he will not be able to make up the distance. And that's a 4 for us.
There's not one boy for me. I must have 2 or 3. I need 4.
I mean, that's a very definition of muscling, isn't it? I mean, he really gave that a kitchen sink and placed it superbly.
Yeah, not really the best timed of things, but like you said, all muscle. But that's the googly. It's hit pad. I think that'll be another leg by. Probably doing too much to contemplate a review, and that'll be a second leg by to end the over.
I think off the naked eye, it looked like it was going down leg anyway. So
yeah,
cool. Let's see, where were we? Oh, Jay says I can drink vast amounts of small amounts of time, but I can't down OWT. Unless I have no gag reflex. Mog saying the Bears jingle organizing is so Byzantine he even pisses himself off with it. Jay Grover saying I could never convince any of my friends to play D&D with me as a BAM, I guess as a baby or as a kid, but hell, the Bear looks like a proper central casting dungeon master these days. Robbie Nair saying we've had 4 Tory PMs resign in 7 years. Surely even Shahid Afridi didn't retire as frequently. Or Brett Favre if you're an American sports fan.
Certainly. Sam Curran in for the 18th over. A huge appeal for LBW. First instinct from me that it was going down leg side. A leg by's been
I think
run.
they've reviewed it. Well, they've reviewed it.
Have they reviewed it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably because it's Usman.
Yeah. It did look a bit leg side for me. It's only what we all first thought.
Yeah, that would have been my first thought. It looked like a polite inquiry type appeal rather than a full-throated conviction of being utterly.
I don't
sure
know. Curran seemed pretty convinced it was LBW.
He was. If Broad's appeal is that.
I think it might have pitched outside leg. That's the thing.
I think it pitched outside.
I don't think there's any doubt about it being in front of the stumps because he's right back on his middle stump. But I think it pitched just outside.
It's pitched outside leg.
But probably a good shout on. I mean, if you've got a batsman on the back foot, literally right in front of his middle stump, then that's where it hits. You could see from a bowler's perspective why you'd give it a shout, but it's where the ball pitched, I think, is the issue here.
It's not an issue.
We're going to go through the motions. It hasn't hit the bat. So roll on through. Pitching outside leg. Sam Curran do laps of the track.
Not as much outside as I thought.
Yeah, it's
but enough.
Obviously. It needs to be a good half a ball inside, doesn't it, for it to be.
Chris Brown will get the old "I told you so" wave of his satisfied wave of his arms.
Yeah, you have permission to look smug on camera, umpire. Curran in again, full ball on leg stump, only able to be pushed by Usman down the ground to long on single. 107. Oh, sorry, 108 for 5. And it's just been, we've been waiting for the fireworks, but they've just not quite been there, Tony.
No, and this has been Afghanistan's problem, to be honest, in recent games.
Back of a length this time. Usman steps away, tries to hoik this away somewhere, anywhere, but cannot make contact.
Well, he cramped him for room. I think it was the slower ball bouncer. He rolls his fingers across it. And yeah, it was just too smart for Usman. Easy for Joss.
It's felt. I mean, you can never really tell until both sides are batted anyway, but this current is in, and Usman moves to leg, flicks the ball to Stokes at deep mid-wicket. What an arm that man has. It's just frightening about how quickly the ball gets back to the keeper. Just a single. It's felt a little bit big brother, little brother-ish.
Yeah, I mean, there's the old adage, of course, wait until both sides have batted until you say that with genuine conviction, but England have bowled smartly and effectively and fielded superbly.
Yeah. Back of a length, pulled away by Azmat, and straight down the throat of Ben Stokes. Couldn't have found him any more accurately if he tried. Stokes, I didn't think, had to make a move in any direction. Azmat has to go. Afghanistan are 109.
What on earth were you saying?
Got him! Why did he do that? Unbelievable!
Tony, there was a ball before when Stokes was bowling where it went over Livingston's head because they've not had the fielders on the boundary, but maybe like 10-15 yards inside.
Yep.
And that's a similar sort of distance inside that Stokes was, and that's allowed him to take that catch very,
well, I think it's a
very
risk you
comfortably.
take, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
it looks bad when it doesn't work, and it looks great when it does. But you're right. Had he been on the rope, it would have been just straight down his throat. But that's, them's the breaks. I think England will consider themselves in credit enough not to be overly troubled by it.
Shall we jingle the number 8? Last ball of the 18th over, and that is pulled away by Rashid Khan. And you might not as well jingle him because he's out first ball.
Oh Lord, well I am going to quickly jingle him.
Rashid Khan, yes please. The best off-stump bowler in the whole silly world, yeah. Rashid Khan, yes please. What you gonna do when he bowls to you, yeah.
What he's going to do is he's going to misplay a short pitch delivery down the throat of Alex Hales.
You flipping muppet.
I'm getting quite into me mashing jingles now. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a good mashup, man.
There's got to be some DJ remixing that's going to happen at some point. I feel like that's an extra.
DJ Bishop and his DJ Wheels of Steel.
DJ Bishop and the Bear.
Means Curran's on a hat trick next time if he gets another over, and I'm almost certain he will. He will be on a hat trick.
If he gets another over, 109 for 7 after 18 overs. Brian, do you want to get a couple of tweets in quick?
I might be able to catch us up. Jay Grover says, "Hooray, Brian! I think Brian's drug of choice is ludicrously syrupy coffee additions." No, you're wrong. Go ahead. We'll finish in a moment.
Wokes will bowl the 19th over. Usman moves to leg, pulls to deep mid-wicket, but will only take a single. He's on 30 of 28 balls, and therein lies the problem.
And this is the new batsman.
If you can't play spin, you're shit out of luck against the sky. Mujib Rahman makes your bow liquefy. All of your flaws he'll magnify. Mujib Rahman.
So Wokes into Mujib, and Mujib just chips it very easily back to Wokes.
Yep.
Yeah, everyone's walking around so calmly that I assumed for a minute that he might have bumped it back to him, but Mujib, with his really rare bat with no logo on it, has toe-ended and leading-edged a catch. Really
That's a hell of a catch.
Back. It's a great one-handed catch by Wokes. It looks probably simpler than it is, I guess. but that is a second consecutive first ball duck
Well, I
for
think, yeah,
Afghanistan.
I was going to say it's both the spin twins. They're going to hope Afghanistan will hope they bowled better than they batted.
Yes. The bear must be doing cartwheels of delight. 110 for 8.
Curran might not get a chance for his hat trick.
No, not yet. This is bowled wide going across Fareed, who's the number 10 batsman for Afghanistan.
Here he is.
He tries to make contact.
Medium fast, not for
Sorry, I was enjoying that Tom Petty tribute so much that you missed a ball.
Wokes in. Just a bit of room going across Fareed, a swing and a miss. Maybe slightly overly enthusiastic from Fareed there. And the carnage continues. 110 for 8. 2 balls left of the 19th over. Fareed makes contact, and that's been dropped. England pathetic in the field. No, wait, that's not right. In all the confusion, there'll be 2 runs taken. It was Hales has spilled what would have been a fantastic catch, diving to his right at sort of backward point. A great attempt, diving, a one-handed stop more than a dropped catch, but that's probably how it will go down in the book.
Yeah, he was unfortunate. I mean, he fielded against first few games against Pakistan like a man wearing diving boots, didn't he? But there he was genuinely unlucky.
A man wearing diving boots?
Last ball of this over, around the wicket. A swing and a miss. A lusty swing and a miss. There you need 10 runs or less in the last over, because Afghanistan are 112 for 8.
All right, the late roller says, I don't tell anyone, but I'm watching this foregone conclusion. The Aussies were far from impressive earlier. Is it time to sack the board and start a high performance review yet? Suitor Who Colin says the umpires messed up here, indicated a leg bye before England had referred the decision, basically gave them extra info, and yet they still reviewed. Jay says, I think Shahid, Favre's, and the UK's Conservative Party's policy positions might overlap on several key points. Mog saying Girl Cricket still using the children's version of the Rashid conjugal. I note, here comes the hat-trick ball.
Hat-trick ball, and it is a full ball, in-swinging, missing leg stump. But Usman had moved to leg, and therefore it counts as a swing and a miss through to the keeper.
It's also quite unselfish from Sam Curran. He was following the batsman and focusing on saving runs rather than attacking the stumps on his hat-trick ball, so well done him for that.
If he'd have just bowled it... Yeah, I'm always interested about the premeditated idea and do you follow the batsman. Curran in. Again, a back away from Usman.
3
and
for
this
4.
has been taken. Cut away. Or no, has it? Yeah, yes. Yeah. I wish people would celebrate more when there's wickets. This is very difficult to be able to tell. It cut away to deep point where it's gone down the throat of Liam Livingston, who nonchalantly just threw the ball back in.
For fuck's sake. Oh, no, he's out. Excellent. Top edge. For fuck's sake. Oh, no, he's out. Excellent. Top edge. For fuck's sake. Oh, no, he's out. Excellent.
Tony, didn't people used to celebrate wickets?
Well, yes. I think there was a degree of nonchalance about that. It was beautifully taken. It was straight to him, safely taken. And
Al, I think people used to celebrate wickets, but not when you're beating a team when you've got 9 down and you've got the tail out and with what should be a pretty straightforward target.
Well, it should. You do have to allow. The only proviso is that is some attack that Afghanistan has. When you put Mujib and Rashid in tandem, I'd be intrigued to see if they open with them, given the state of the score.
A full ball just outside off stump to Basel, who's the number 11 batsman.
But
Curran with figures of 4 for 10.
Sorry, Al. I think, but what I'm trying to make is it's sort of like celebrating a goal, wanting people to celebrate a goal when you're up 14-0 in a soccer match.
It's like England women against Luxembourg. When
Yeah,
the
or like
when
the-
the 12th goes in, you go, yeah, well done.
or like the U.S. against Thailand in the World Cup a couple of years ago. Except they did celebrate, and in many cases they should have.
Absolutely, they should have done.
There's another one.
That's it.
That's cut away, reaches the edge of the circle, another good catch. Afghanistan are roll out for 112, and Curran's got 5 wickets. And I'm assuming that is appropriate to be able to celebrate.
After you've gone.
Well, Al, do you want to run us through the scorecard?
I will try my best to find a scorecard, and then I will help you run you through it. That will not be a problem. But that has been some world-class cricket from England. There has always been a sense sometimes about the idea that there may well, can England sort of go to potential?
Well, now here's a quick
they
thing.
have.
Before you jump into that, it does mean that now both Currans have got themselves fifers at Perth Stadium. Tom did it in an ODI in 2018, and now Sam has done it in a T20 in 2022. But both can say they've enjoyed trips to Perth Stadium. So well done, the Currans.
Shall we run through a scorecard?
Go for it.
Gurbaz was the first man out. Port Butler bowled Wood for 10. Then Zazai was the next one out, caught brilliantly by Livingston off Stokes. He scored 7 off 17 balls. Third wicket was Zadran. That was Kaur Ali, bowled Curran, another catch by Moeen Ali. 32 off 32 balls. The fourth wicket to fall was let me see here. Who was the first one? There's 2 Zadrans in here. So there's Ibrahim Zadran, who was the third wicket to fall. Then Najibullah Zadran was the fourth. Caught Rashid Bowl Stokes. A good catch by Rashid. 13. Then the fifth wicket to fall was Nabi. Caught Butler. Great catch by Butler. Bowled Wood for 3. Omar Azli was caught Stokes bowl Curran for 8. Rashid Khan caught Hales bowl Curran, golden ball Duck. Rahman caught and bowled Wokes, golden Duck. Usman Ghani was the 9th wicket to fall, and Ghani was caught Livingston in the deep bowl Curran for 30. And then the last wicket was for Faruqi, caught Milan bowl Curran for no score, 2 balls faced. 7 extras, 4 leg byes, 3 wides, a total of 112. Stokes 4 overs, 2 for 19. Wokes 4 overs, 1 for 24. Wood 4 overs, 2 for 23. Sam Curran 3.4 overs, 5 for 10, and Adil Rashid 4 overs, none for 32. About as complete a bowling and fielding performances one might want to see.
Yeah, I think so. Leah also reminded me that that's England's first ever T20 international fifer. So,
Round of applause.
Yeah, some piece of statting. So some effort by Sam Curran for not many runs. It just seemed interesting, really. I mean, poor old Afghanistan, they never really got going at any point. They had a stodgy power play that got stodgy in the middle and stayed stodgy towards the end, and didn't even make it to their 20 overs. Enthusiasm for a magnificent effort, only tempered by the fact that I'm not sure the ball's coming onto the bat that easily, and we shall just see how England go. It should be, gents, a really straightforward job for England, but should and will, two different, quite different words.
This is England we're talking about.
Well, it can happen. It can happen. Now then, have we got any final messages there?
Yeah,
Brian?
let's clean up here. Jake Rover saying, to quote Afghan cricketers from times past, "Why am I batting with a bisexual?" Still the greatest line in any documentary ever. Leia saying, Curran seems pretty fired up. Do we know if he lost an ancestor during the retreat from Kabul? Or Kabul, rather. The Light Roller saying, queer jug avoidance from Curran. Warren says, can someone, Mog, share in the Discord group the YouTube clip of the Bears Edge Out jingle, please? Josie Oak saying Curran is rubbish. Probably ironically at this point. Leia saying Curran, the point that you made about the first fifer. Mog saying, no, that's a conversation. And that's it. And just over on YouTube, we're having a delightful conversation about cider and wine and apparently Richard Burton.
Richard Burton?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm intrigued. Tell me how Richard Burton gets into it while I try and figure out what
Well,
we're gonna
there's
do any
actually
break.
somebody whose name is Richard Burton, and they were saying, "Oh, it's I'm me, not the dead one," because one of them is dead apparently. That's one of was and that's it. And I shall take my leave until tomorrow when you will hear me do ball by ball.
Looking forward to that, Brian.
Yeah, you and me
Bear,
both.
could you come on and set us up with some fabulous dice cricket?
Tony,
Hello, yes.
on a wider point, is there maybe a need for me to stick around, or you got everything sorted that you need for the second
For
half of
today,
Saturday?
I think
Yeah.
for today we are okay. All
I didn't
aboard-
know, just in case, because you're with me.
All are
but,
aboard coming on board, but I think we're okay. I will message you. Don't you worry. Should anything change?
Yeah, okay,
All
that's
right.
not a problem. All right.
Going to be Dwayne Leverock, left arm round.
I'm just registering you at that mental image.
You feel the earth move under your feet when twinkles tumbling down, tumbling down. You feel the stand start to trembling when twin level rock goes down.
Well, there's method in my madness, because of course when Dwayne Leverock got 77 in his in one of the previous games, he then came out and took 3 for 27. So let's see if that batting performance has inspired him to do something great with the ball as well. Over to you, Al.
Okay, thank you very much, Endo. Good luck in the second innings, and it's really who's going to take strike, and he is going to drive that ball straight past Leverock, and there's a man down there at long leg, and they're going to take 3 runs off that first ball. A good start to the innings there for Brearley, bringing Grace onto strike. So Leverock comes in for the second ball, and Grace is easily just going to work that ball just to the left-hand side of mid-wicket and just jog through for an easy single, bringing Brearley back onto strike. Leverock getting through his over pretty quickly, and Brearley's rocked back and cut that behind square, and it's 4 runs, first 4 of the innings. Oh, and it looked for a moment as if there might be something in the offering there for Leverock, but it's just been chipped ever gently back over Leverock's head, and they'll take an easy 2, and Brearley moves on to 9. More of the same, quick running between the wickets, good communication between Grace, calling through Brearley for that second run, for that ball just pushed through to square. Boundary Rider's throw, not able to cut that off in time, and it's another 2. Brearley moves on to 11, last ball of the over. Oh, and Leverock's gone up. Oh, he's out! He's out. Brearley has played all around a straight. We played for turn that just simply wasn't there, and Leverock has swooped into strike with the last ball of the first over. Disaster there for the Beardy Bastards, and that's the fall of the first wicket with 12 runs on the board.
Yes, indeed. Mike Brearley gone for 11 off 5 with 1-4 after 1 over. The Beardy Bastards 12 for 1 in reply to the Beardy Bastards 255.
Well, taking pace off the ball seems to be maybe the way to go. Although there was a lot of pace bowling in the first innings. I'm going to turn to the man to bowl, to WG Grace. It's going to be none other. I'm not going to mess around at all. It's going to be WG Grace.
Oh yeah.
He covers 2 spots.
And both of them on both of them, we have Grace on Grace. Who's at the non-strikers end, by the way, Al? Who's your number 3?
The non-striker who will probably jingle up when he comes to face his first ball is going to be Moen Ali.
We'll do him now.
Good now.
Move over, I'm low. I like it too much. Move over, I'm low. You're one hairy dish. I love unconditionally. It's Moeen Ali.
Linux Leo says, specialist captain playing a specialist captain's knock.
True enough, he did get a century in his last inning, so a bit disappointing there from Braley, but it's fat WG Grace coming into bowl to thin WG Grace. And it's been punched away by thin WG Grace. Fat WG Grace not really troubling him at all with that ball, and he's driven that ball through cover point, and it's 4 runs.
I will say that WG Grace bowling to WG Grace is the game that WG Grace dreamed of.
It certainly is. And thin WG Grace is having the time of his life as he just rocks back gently in his crease and he pulls this away. And it is high and it is hard and it is 20 rows deep in the crowd. 6 runs. Oh, and
Sorry about that, we're back.
Well, that was all rather quicker than we thought. I thought there was supposed to be a 10-minute or at least 15-minute break.
I thought there was supposed to be 20 minutes, we were told, but it's clearly not.
Well,
Which
no.
it shouldn't be, to be fair. It should be about 5 minutes. We're supposed to be Annie, Tony and Messi.
Everyone would have been caught short by the
yeah, see, there's Annie turned up.
speedy turnaround.
I'm here.
Annie's there. And looks like Messi's there, so I'm not
Hello, I heard you call for me, and so I came.
There
you were.
You're not going to win a GPL unless England lose.
No. Yeah.
Well, we'll have.
Yeah.
I've
I've just worked out.
I
spent 220 quid on the GPL since I last.
Faisal's
week,
opened the bowling. It's gone down past the offside of Butler, through to the keeper, and it's a dot ball. Yeah. It's Faruqi actually, who's bowling to Joss Butler. I'd like to tell you whether it's from the Langer end or the members end. It's very hard to tell in this bowl of a stadium. That one's tickled away, backward a square, and England are off and running with their first boundary. Beautifully played by Joss Butler. 4 runs.
And if you kids can't listen, then you bound to see the way you get shot for crossing a boundary, crossing a boundary.
That was a quick turnaround, wasn't it?
Well, it was. For some reason, I have no idea where my Afghanistan player notes are. I must have dropped them on the way in.
Oh dear! Now you're absolutely ruined. You won't have anything to say, Tony.
Bear or Hendo, could someone find my Afghanistan notes and bring them in, because I seem to have come in without them.
Make sure you bring the right team in.
Annie and I will actually have to say
passed.
something for a change.
Passed off stump. Wide again. Through it goes. No run. Seriously, guys, could you help me out there?
That was a lovely catch by Butler, wasn't it?
Right, okay.
Messi, did you see that?
It was. No, I was too busy looking for Tony's notes.
4 without
Yeah, I
loss.
can't find them.
I'm sure I haven't got them.
Yeah, I haven't got them.
All right, well, I'm sure you two haven't got them. In comes Faisal. Again, wide of off stump. Again.
Very wide.
Again, it's given as a wide by
I'm
umpire
not
Chris
surprised.
Brown. One more to the England score, 5 without loss.
Dear.
Remember, the power play was somewhat pedestrian from Afghanistan. Just 35 for 1 they were. England are 5 without loss within
Have you got
3
your
balls.
notes now, Tony?
I had 2/3 of them. And the final third
dear.
was to try and tell me anything about the Afghanistan team. Faisal, in he comes. It's wide again. Sort of a gentle forward prod. And it's a dot ball. Fazal Haq Faruqi is to give him his full name. 3 IPL appearances for Sunrisers Hyderabad in 2022. Took 2 for 32 versus Pakistan as well. Sorry, versus Punjab Kings when he got Bairstow and Shikhar. Well, the thing is, some of the Afghanistan names, they don't give you the full name on the screen. So
No, absolutely.
I like to double check. What have we got? We've got 2 slips, rather entertainingly. Backward point, cover, extra cover, left. Through it goes to Gurbaz behind the stumps. And again, there is no run. Something is tickling Messi.
Oh, sorry, Will. Jay's just written, oh, for fuck's sake. Tony, Andy, and Messrs, welcome to the Chuckle Dome.
I know what you mean.
We're here to enjoy ourselves. Yeah.
In Xanadu did Kubla Khan. a chuckle zone decree. In comes Faisal. Wide of off stump it goes. Through to Gurbaz. End of the over. England 5 without loss. And Messrs. Messrs. I presume your tweets and
yeah,
just
I
general
am.
Genius.
Madan Mohan Sharma says it appears to be one-sided affair. Only England is playing and Afghanistan is letting things happen. For Afghanistan, English bowling is very difficult to handle and hope that English batting will be more tough. Yeah, I think this is seen by England as a chance to have a really good net run rate after their first game, a bit like New Zealand. Warren says, you're back on.
I know. Well, it's just ridiculous. I'm not sure.
Thanks, Warren.
Yeah. Jay Grover says, oh man, I just stabbed myself with my skeleton pirate ship. Still looks mint though. Was that a genuine note of panic in Tony's voice there? I think it was, I heard it myself. There's Tony, Mog says, Tony Bishop single-handedly denuding the world's forest for his Afghan notes.
Yeah, I know, it's dodgy, isn't it?
Well, they're comparatively brief notes, I have to say. It's going to be our old friend Hazmat. Here he comes. We'll jingle him up first. So Afghanistan, Annie, have interestingly eschewed the opportunity to open with Rashid Khan and Mujib, which I had a feeling they might.
Well, yeah, I mean, except Rashid got a first ball duck, didn't he? Perhaps he's not feeling too confident.
Well, so did Mujib. They both got first ball ducks. But what that... I would have thought that would have motivated Mr. Motivated them more.
I don't know.
In comes Azmat. Wide. Ooh. Now, is that going to be given as a wide? I think it pitched, but then swung. No, Alim Dar spreads his wings like a giant condor. Pink arms, yes. Well,
they really are very, very vibrant, those umpire codes.
Well, they are indeed. Azmat. I think Azmat thinks he's a little bit hard done by there. Because I have to say,
it did swing a bit, didn't it?
It swung massively, and I thought pitched within the tram lines. Yeah. But it's one more to the England score. In comes Azmat. That's full, and it swung on the off stump, but Hales just plays it towards mid-off and runs a quick single. We'll jingle up Alex Hales. Here he is.
Hales, the gang's all here. What a extra weekend, what an extra weekend. Hales, the gang's all here. What an extra weekend now.
Yep, and whilst we've got 2 moments to do it.
Prior ain't no loss, 'cause we found someone subtler. Okay, he can't spell Joss, but he also can't spell Butler. Joss Butler.
Or Joss Butler's facing. He's got himself a single. In fact, he's going to get himself 4. Because
1 S and 2 T.
That was just effortlessly guided away through extra cover by gimlet-eyed Joss for one of these. Not quite as much length that time, and a little bit shorter, and Joss Butler just leant into it and guided it. Let the ball do the work. Annie.
Beautiful. Almost as seamless as your jingling, Tony.
I've been getting into my mashups. I was getting into my mashups
Yeah,
earlier. Quite enjoying that. Onto the back
as
foot.
opposed to double plays. Yes.
Yeah, well, no, which used to be a problem. I always remember that dot ball, by the way. The very first time Annie came into guerrilla cricket, she was on jingles and rather hesitantly prodding around, wondering what would happen. And
wondering what the hell I was doing.
I advised you as to the whereabouts of the fade button, and you did it so beautifully. I said you were more Annie Nightingale than Annie Che. To this day, I've always remembered that for some strange reason.
Well, at least you remember something.
Without having to write it down. That steered away around the corner. They take a single to the man on
He
the 45.
actually had that tattooed on his arm. That's how he can remember it.
I thought you were going to say on his ass. I thought be able to read.
I don't know if we'd be able to see that.
No, never mind. I was going to crack a terrible joke. I decided not to.
The pawn bot wants to know who's on double entendre duty.
Well, it could be pick one from three. It could be any one of us.
I don't know
Number seven for our friend Hazmat. In he comes. That's wide again, and Hales has a bit of a flaily Hales, and once again, the pink wings of Alimdar don't flap, but they are spread, and it's another wide. 8 off the over so far.
Full wide, aren't they?
The thing is, they change every time. So here we're seeing a caption that says Omazari to Hales. Then they call him something else on the on-screen caption. So
sure who's who,
they're a bit all over the place. Asmat comes in.
It's run by the ICC, so what do you expect?
Anything could happen. Guided to backward point. Single taken. Hales dealing just in twos. Joss Butler a runnable 9. Well, Hales, to be fair, a runnable. 14 without loss.
Runnable 2.
And we, although just 2.
Yeah.
14 without loss, and 1 ball left of the second over, which has been reasonably expensive. I think England will definitely want to get this job done quickly, having skittled really.
Yeah, I'm not sure
Afghanistan.
how. I mean, the run rate must count for quite a lot.
112 is not a big total. Again, that's away to a man at backward point. It's the end of the over. Means after 2 overs, England are going at 7 and over, 14 without loss. Messers.
Well, Farong's a little disappointed. No one took up his Fantasy Dream 11 offer. Good man, Sam Curran, but only had him as vice captain. Josh Butler needs to make a decent score as captain and shows a season-long version of what he's done. Those things are too difficult for me. I always keep forgetting the deadlines and get really frustrated. Mog never one to let hate disappear when it's a useful energy to drive him. Says, important to note, Afghanistan made more runs than Australia did.
I'm just looking at Sam Curran and Chris Wokes sitting there with their arms folded, and they reminded me of the Les Dawson character with Roy Barraclough. Do you remember when it? As that one's wide. Hales is off stump by Fazal. His second over, none for 5 for him so far. Still 14 without loss, 113 the target. They're still doing it. Or is it Ada? Ada was one of them.
He kind of he's sort of a bit like
They'd finish each other's sentences, wouldn't they? Or not finish sentences.
As you just did for me, in fact.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry about that.
But how close can you get?
It was Ada, but what was the other? I think Ada was the Les Dawson character, but I can't remember who the Roy Barraclough character was. Fazalin steered by, but that was a bit after you. He skidded to a halt, did Butler, having just guided it backward a point, and I think he saw Hales under his nose. He wasn't sure, and he carried on, and as it was all safe. But moments hesitancy, Annie.
Well, he kept stuttering. It was more stuttery, wasn't it?
And Chris Wokes has actually got that expression on his face. Look, he has turned himself into Roy Barraclough. Sat next to
needs a scarf
Sam Curran, who is playing the role of Les Dawson. Fazal in as Butler jumping onto the back foot to guide to square leg. No run on this occasion. Well bowled Fazal. That was sharp and accurate.
Yeah.
Does
more than a passing
Sissy mean anything to you in the context of this?
Sissy and Ada. Yes, Sissy and Ada. Those
that's
are the two
courtesy
characters.
of Forthy.
Forthy, you
Sissy
are
and Ada.
your knowledge of 70s
Les
or early
Dawson.
80s TV culture is magnificent. It was Sissy and Ada. That was the two of them. Bang on.
I'd never remembered that.
Bang on. Well, I knew one of them. I just hadn't remembered Sissy.
Well, you really don't want to waste too much brain memory space on it. I've got to tell you. Annie.
Possibly not. Fazal in. Slapped by Butler. No real footwork, but he's guided that between point and cover, and the ball is rolling in to the Toblerone now for one of these.
1 2 ka 4 4 2 ka 1. My name is Lakhan. My name is Lakhan.
The much criticised Toblerone too, Annie. Ben Stokes not a fan, is he?
Because it's not plain chocolate.
Well, what he was really criticising was the size of the boundary sponge. But
yes. Well,
after
let's
Topley's
face it,
accident,
it was responsible for one of our players.
yes, which I think if you're a Patreon, you can read all about, because I think Hendo's done a rather interesting and entertaining and thoughtful
gone
piece.
on now?
Well, yeah, he's been. This is why I appeared towards the end of the first session. This was wide of the off stump, bit of a swing and a miss from Joss Butler, but through it goes to Gurbaz behind the stumps. There is no run. One
yes,
ball
and
left.
Don Topley was just heading out to Australia. Probably got there just as Reese was heading back home.
Yeah,
Not much fun.
I mean, I do see Ben Stokes' point. They do seem just a bit on the large side. You know, basically just so they can fit the advertising messages on.
It's all about advertising, getting money.
Yeah, but not at the
That's
expense
all
of
that
players'
matters.
health and
No,
safety, which
yeah,
is exactly
at
the point
expense of players.
Stokes was making. Fazal wide off stump, and we may get a wide and a run here because it was a swing and a miss from Joss. Down leg it went. The wide is given, so it should be signalled as a wide. Well, it has been signalled as a wide. It's just the caption hasn't caught up with it. It's 19 without loss anyway for England.
Leah actually says she wants a new. Leah wants a new wide jingle based on young Hansi Kush, Murdering Queen. She sent us a link to that.
Oh.
And you got a fan in Sheffield, Tony says. Jay says I think Tony's being pretty mint on the jingles today.
Oh, well, but that's really kind. This is.
I do too.
Push to the man at very short mid wickets, Faisal. And it means at the end of the over. Oh well, they're appealing for LBW there, and I really, I'm surprised. I didn't seem to be anything in that at all. But they might as well. They could do with breaking this partnership. 21 without loss after 3. The review just seems to have come and gone with no excitement, and we are going to see Mujibur Rahman come into the attack. That was so far down leg, I can't believe there was even a thought of a review. It was ridiculous. But let's
Jeff,
get some messages in.
Jeff Perkins says, is double play halfway to 4 play message? And on that point, Rabinair says, I wonder, given you three, if it's triple entendre duty. Tony says something risque, Jez adds to it, and Annie caps it off, as it were.
Hey.
Well, here's the new bowler.
If you can't play spin, you're shit out of luck against this guy. Mujibur Rahman makes your bow liquefy. All of your flaws you'll magnify.
And his first ball is worked away into the leg side by Butler. Kays Ahmed is on the field, who I didn't think was playing, so maybe he's on for someone. And he was the man doing the fielding. This one is guided by Hales to point, no run.
You have to say that 22 off the first 3.2 overs is not such a bad result for Afghanistan.
No,
It's
not at all.
too bad, is it?
Forward comes Hales, but can only steer it to cover. And it's Rashid Khan fielded the first time, chased after it, and then misfielded his second attempt. But it is still just a single. Thus
Do you think
far.
it's getting a bit dewy out there?
Well, yes, I think it may well be. Onto the back foot, lofted high over extra cover, but it's going to plug, and I think it should be hauled in by Mohammed Nabi, who got there short of the Toblerone. In fact, Hales quickly sent Butler back, who looks a little bit annoyed. I think Butler felt there were 3 there, and Alex Hales took it upon himself to say no. 3 Afghanistan fielders enthusiastically haired after that. Nabi it was who won the race and nearly took the head off of the man just behind him with the throw. This one's worked off his legs nicely by Joss Butler. Again, it's misfilled 3 times, like a bar of soap.
It
Majib
must
is
be getting
not,
dewy out there.
not impressed. Although that said, it's only 4, 5, 6 off this over so far. 1 ball left from it.
They're not looking quite as crisp in the field as we did then.
No, I think the ball is slippery, and
Yeah.
the dew may be a factor. He's chewing ferociously. Is Majib? His uncle is Noor Al-Zadran, also an Afghan international. And this one's worked away towards mid-wicket. His uncle's only 34.
Oh
Would you
my
believe
God.
that? I know.
Oh.
I mean, Majib's still only 21, incredibly. I think he played his first game for Afghanistan when he was 17. 18 he was.
So
18 when he first
27
his
off 4
IPL game.
overs is only 6.5 an over. Or
Yeah,
something. That's amazing.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. England,
Yeah.
we thought England did have Afghanistan in a bit of a box, but it hasn't been straightforward scoring for England either.
No wickets down though.
The porn bot says how much fornication before this game is done, and the Jay Grover says who's on double entendre duty? Everyone, and he sends us a link to and everyone's angry.
Gary Oldman.
All right.
Ah.
The light rollers.
Fazal,
Says-
he's going to bowl his third over,
No.
and it's stabbed back to him by Alex Hales. And
I'm glad to hear
well,
it.
if it's live, I don't need to be checking it then.
No.
Well, this is to tell you, if you're a Patreon, Smaximum will be dropping into your inboxes any moment now.
It just has.
And Annie can confirm
Yep, I
brilliantly.
can confirm that.
Oh, there's some fun
There
stuff
you
in
go.
there. There's some tales from the green room. There's a piece by Hendo about Toblerone injuries.
That's been
We wait
written
for
twice.
Fazal. That's been written twice. That one's wide, and I think will be given as a wide. It was a swing and a by Hales. Yes, Chris Brown this time has his pink-clad arms spread.
Too many
England move
wides
on to
going
28.
on here. Extras are a bit story at the moment.
They have. There's a piece on tears and crying, and the tribulations of poor David Vaser, written by me, in fact. so I can tell you that's in there.
Who was it? Oh,
That's
that's
how
right.
bad my
Trying to
memory
be-
is. Fazal in. Slapped
You need your
to
notes
backle
for that.
point. No, I don't.
Yeah. It's lucky it had your name under the title of the piece,
Yes.
Danny, or you would never have known who'd written it.
It's like, do you know who I am? No, but if you're having trouble remembering, it's somewhere you can look it up. Fazal is cut, late cut, fielded on the bounce by, I'm not sure who that is. I think it might be Kay's Ahmed.
Well, Jay Grover says, you lot having fun is proper cheering me up. Carry on.
Oh.
That's what I like. I reckon if we're having fun, you're probably enjoying it.
Well, that's
too.
the theory. Down the track comes Hales. Bumps this
You're a
high
miserable
and
bastard.
handsome over long on. I think that has gone the distance. I'm just going to wait to confirm it before I decide what colour of jingle we need. We need one of these.
It came out of your hand and into my soul. Now it's up in the stands. It's a 6. It's beautiful and it's mine.
So 3 balls left. More like it from Hales. He's a runnable 10 at the moment for him, and he was looking to do the same thing again, and he absolutely almost took himself off his feet. But it's wide of off stump, and somewhere in the Perth weather cave, something is making Messrs chortle, but probably
The
wasn't
light
that
roller
deliberate.
reckons this is carry-on commentary.
Carry on commentary.
To be honest,
Yeah.
it's been refreshingly devoid of actual genuine double entendre. We've just been
Well,
having
Mog says multiple entendre.
multiple entendre. It was Kay's Ahmed, who didn't quite know where that was. It was on the bounce anyway.
Yeah, so I mean, they're definitely lacking in the field compared to England. We tend to take extraordinary
Well,
catches.
Messrs would know the local conditions more, so I'm going to just ask him.
Come on, Messrs,
after
out
this
you go,
delivery.
outside, have a look.
Fazal, in he
Outside?
comes, full. Flicked off his legs, but doesn't really get it to go anywhere. Fazal has to field off his own bowling. It's a single, takes England on to 35. No, the question I was going to ask, Messrs, is the issue of dew at the stadium?
I would think there's probably no dew yet. It's 17.7 degrees in Perth. Apparent temperature 16.8. The dew point is 12.8.
The dew point?
No dew then.
What's the dew point? The point at which you get dew in temperature-wise.
Yeah. So I doubt if there's any dew at this stage. There may be a little later.
Umar Gul is the Afghanistan bowling
coach.
Was that as good as going outside, Annie?
It was.
Well, no, not really.
Oh, it was impressive.
You want me to get wet, don't
weather
you?
knowledge. Fazal, left armour.
Oh,
Flicked high, but I think he's going to be caught. Yes, he is.
Yes.
Joss Butler has been taken in the deep. Fazal has a wicket. Afghanistan have got what they will consider as a big inroad into England. 35 for 1, England. Butler, the man who's gone for 18. And there may be life in this game yet. Don't be too confident, England fans. You always know
Never
something
confident.
can happen.
How many entendres is taken in the deep?
Oh, I like it.
Mujib took the catch. Are we? Is that the end of the over as well?
Yeah, we do a change.
We are due a change. It's 35 for 1. 5 overs complete. I'm going to take my leave. The bear is looming in giant ursine form, and I shall move off.
So it's not so bad this time, Annie. Jay Grover from 5 minutes ago. Serious point for once is the next one.
Don't be silly. A serious point. Jay Grover, serious point for once. I were very impressed with Ahmed for Kent this year. Yeah, absolutely. The light roller says we're a long way from home. Ooh, matron. There you are. That's my carry on.
Lovely, priceless. I'll see if I can.
Thank you for it.
I absolutely rely on you, Annie, with the double entendre. So keep up the tradition. I'll see what I can do. Bear, I don't know. I think he might regard it as slightly undergraduate wit, but no, I think he won't pass an opportunity up if we do get a double entendre staring us in the face.
Of course not.
We've got one here from Alternative Pornbot. Annie says dewy and everyone gets moist. Cricket is filth, apparently.
Goodness me.
Liverpool are fucking losing to Notts Forest 1-0.
Are they?
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that. Now, bear in mind I'm 10 seconds behind you, so this gives you an opportunity to come up with something
So
really
Liverpool
insightful.
are still winning. I mean, not losing yet.
Speaking to you from the past, in comes Majid, start of his second over, start of the 6th. That's played straight down by Hales. He's got off to a fairly sluggish start. He's 11 off 13.
Yeah.
We're going to get through this over very rapidly. So in comes Majid again, and that one's pulled. It'll be, no doubt, there'll be a man at deep square leg. I say that. In fact, there isn't. A guy from mid-wicket has to scurry around, and they come back for 3 just.
You're not watching it on normal telly?
I'm watching it on normal telly, and there's a 10-second delay. I know what you're going to say next. How can that be the case when I'm in Australia?
No,
It is nonetheless the
because
case.
Messi was watching it in Perth on normal telly, and it was in time. That's just.
Well, it's 3 hours different. So somewhere over
somewhere they've lost 10 seconds from over there.
Somewhere we lose 10 seconds over the Nullarbor plane.
So everything that happens in Perth happens like normal time, and you're 10 seconds behind.
I don't know.
I
know
wonder if
that
that actually is the case.
Andy was even further behind than me yesterday.
my
So
God.
God knows he was 20 seconds behind.
Yeah, he's doing it off Now TV though, isn't he?
All right. Well, I mean, I've got I've paid up full subscription and everything. Income's
You've been
nothing
done.
cheap here. I think I might have been. I'm doing it from a different room. I've no idea whether that does make any difference. Income's Majib again, and that's a faster ball, straight on back of the hand. Did you think, Annie, that one?
Oh, it was so long ago, I've forgotten.
Yeah. Funny, very funny. Okay. Anyway, they pick up a single. England needs 74 off 87. I can tell you. That,
Just to break in, it's on Channel 9. Don't go on Foxtel. It's on Channel 9. You can watch it live there. Okay?
Well, I take my life in my hands by swapping channel in the middle of commentary.
Yeah, true.
if you can cope for the time being. That one's just played out to mid-on, just the single. Milan is on strike. Keen to make an impression, having been denied a contract in this World Cup final. He doesn't do so that time. Flashes and misses outside off stump. throws his eyes to the heavens. Tipping Milan to go big in this tournament, Annie?
No, I'm not. He's not one of my favourite players. So he probably will do well, actually. Yeah,
Indeed.
do really well. Yeah.
He's not a lot
Plays
of
that one down
people's
to
favourite players, but he's quite good.
down to mid-on, and that is the end of the over. So sorry, I should have been asking Bear, not Annie. He's on special comments. I assume.
Fine,
Sorry
doesn't
about that,
bother me.
Bear.
Doesn't bother me.
England 40-1 at the end of the 6th. Annie tweets.
Jay Grover says, now I feel guilty. There were no innuendos in my last tweet. This one keeps coming out. Right. The Ghost of Zoob says, hello, folks. Did I just hear that Goebbels was behind the stumps and it was getting a little dewy? That's never caused issues in the past. Mog says, got it. The Smaximum, that is, not like the clap or anything. So everyone's got their Smaximum emails, and this was Mog getting his. Perth is usually about 50 years behind, Josie Oak says.
Well, I'll tell you what, I've just gone over to Channel 9 and I'm in sync. So
Hey,
good news
well,
all around.
that's
There you
easier.
go. That's much better.
Thanks, Messi. In comes Rashid Khan, and with his slight frog in the blender, Paul Adams style bowling action, they play that one down to long on, and that's just a single. England 41 for 1. How are you reading it so far, Bear?
It should be a stroll in the park, shouldn't it? Really?
Would have thought so.
You'd have thought so. The
Net
problem-
run rate, obviously a factor.
Yes, and therefore they will probably want to get it done as quick as possible, but then they don't want to be stupid at the same time. I'll let him have another ball, and then I'll play Rashid Khan jingle. It's one of my favourite jingles.
Rashid Khan's just taken off his top to reveal an identical top underneath. It's like Steve Bannon, that strange man in America who used to wear 3 identical shirts, one on top of another. That's probably the only point of connection. That's a reverse sweep from Milan. Misses it entirely. Here's the Rashid Khan jingle.
Rashid Khan, yes please. The best off-stump bowler in the whole silly world, yeah. Rashid Khan, yes please. What you gonna do when he bowls?
In again, that's through where point would have been an easy catch, but he's a little wide. They come back to 2. Milan progresses to 3 off 5. Hasn't quite got his eye in yet, but only 5 balls at the end.
Is that the Steve Bannon who got convicted yesterday? We're talking
Yes,
about.
indeed. Yes, convicted for 4 months in jail.
For wearing lots of tops.
No.
That was the prime reason. Yes. Offences against sartorial elegance. In comes Rashid Khan again. That one's a little fuller. Milan just digs it out. Notoriously slow starter sometimes, Milan, isn't he?
Yeah.
It can be, yeah.
Picks the gaps though when he gets going.
When he gets going, lethal. 5th ball of the over the wicket to the left-handed Milan. He gives himself room, but misses it again. Has not got his own. Don't know. Is the pitch perhaps a little more difficult than we thought?
Well, this is what we said in the first innings, you know.
No,
You never tell, can you, until
I
both
do
teams
think
are
that Afghanistan are going to struggle with the bat against some of the better bowling attacks.
Yeah,
Finally,
we did bowl
Milan
it-
gets
we
one
did bowl
away.
very well.
We did bowl very well. Finally, Milan gets one away, but just a single to the man out in the deep. That's the end of the 7th. England 44 for 1 at the end of it. Annie.
Leah says, so I guess at least that weird German that used to fly to all the Forest games from Germany will be happy, Bear.
Don't know what he's talking about.
No, well, I was hoping you would know.
No.
Well, James Hillhouse will be happy. He's a Forest fan.
Ah, Forest.
Jay Grover says Andy is behind because he thinks he's circumnavigating the capitalist system by paying slave vegan houses elves in Bitcoin to mine electricity. He's not. He just gets shit service and thousands of vegan elves are sacrificed on the altar of his pak choi ego. There you are.
Well, there was a lot of words in there.
It was, wasn't it? Jay Grover did
followed
that especially for me.
Followed some of them, Jay. That was very good. Right, it's Majib in for the start of the 8th over. He's number 11 off 2, so he's bowled respectively so far. Round the wickets to Milan, who goes aerial. Doesn't get all of it. Goes out to the man at wide, long, off, and they come back for 2.
That's where he's good at getting the ball. And genuinely, people don't have fielders there. I can understand why you don't like Manan. He kind of comes across as that kind of player, but he does his job for England.
Well, I think he's quite notoriously difficult to play with.
Well, that's the rumours.
Single-minded. Got that one wide of the man in the inner cordon, but it's fielded by Kais, if that's the correct pronunciation, almost certainly isn't. Just out for a single. He moves on to 7 off 10. Hales back on strike.
A bit of an ego man, I gather.
Yeah.
But also, he's not a Red Bull fan, and
That's where I immediately marched down in Annie's book.
exactly.
Hales cuts that one to the man on the fence. Come through straight to him though. They come through for just the one, and England finding it well. Perhaps we were expecting the match to be all over by now, but such is not the case. They just 48 for 1 in the middle of the 8th. In comes Majib again. Round the wicket to Milan. Good ball. Maybe just on leg stump. And it's stroked with authority, but straight down to the man long on. Comes through for the single.
Sorry, I'm reading the football.
Oh, no, please do go ahead. It's your show. And okay, Hales launched himself at that one, and I couldn't quite tell whether that was on the full. It was a drop catch, but I think it might have bounced.
Was on the full.
Well, that's the second catch that's gone down in the field. The big contrast so far has been the fielding. England took 4 superb catches in the field, really excellent. They've come through for the single.
Catches win
matches. They do indeed.
Well, they do indeed, and that it was on the run. He really should have taken it. And that one is just shoveled round the corner to the man 45 on the leg side. No run. Milan remains 8. England disappeared, I think 51 at the end of the 8th.
There is a tweet here from Hattie Wright, but it says only people in Hattie's Twitter circle can see this tweet. So Hattie, I can't see the tweet. So sorry about that. Mog says not to suggest anything faulty, but it's not got any delay here in the good bit of Melbourne. So I think
not on Channel 9. I'm okay.
I'm
okay.
Yeah.
We've got it back.
Jay Grover says Milan may not be a Red Bull fan, but at least he's not a Red Bull fan who is also a serial killer. Well, do we know that though?
And who's
for a fact?
And who are you saying?
Yeah, exactly. Who's a Red Bull fan? Who's a serial killer? That's who I don't know.
There are certain serial killers in history that got away, and everyone thinks they're cheeky chappies like Boris Johnson. Henry VIII, he was a serial killer.
Was Jack the Ripper a Red Bull fan?
Well, I mean, if he was, he's okay, isn't he? He's fine.
Boris Johnson's only a fan of Boris Johnson.
That's true.
Is he a serial killer?
Henry VIII was a serial killer.
He was a Queen killer.
Jolly old King Henry VIII.
No, he killed a few others, didn't he? Yeah.
He did indeed. Thomas Cromwell for one. Farid is into the attack, and that's shoveled round the corner by Hales.
But that was the thing those days, wasn't it? I mean, if you didn't like somebody, you just killed them. Really.
Yeah, well, not from
killed a couple of wives. God damn it, you know.
There's not many kings. I don't think there are any other kings who beheaded 2 of their wives, and still we think, cheeky chappy.
What a cad he was. Eh?
I'm not a fan of the Tudors at all. I really dislike them as a dynasty. It's a bit late,
I've just read a book which completely discounts them as this is an alternative reality.
Oh, one of those. Okay.
Yeah, and there were no Tudors because
that
Richard
would be
the
nice.
Third won.
One at Bosworth.
Bosworth,
was so rooting for him at Bosworth. Really like Richard the Third. Buried in again, second ball of the over. An elegant shot from Milan, but straight to the man at cover, and there is no run. Milan, 8 off 13. In another match, this would be a problem bear, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah, but I mean, in another match, they probably would have approached it differently as well. I think kind of horses for courses, isn't it?
Wise words indeed. And we look at the slightly glum Harry Brook, very, very cross-armed, and Sam Curran. Can't help feeling a little smug inside after taking 5 wickets in 7 balls. A fantastic performance earlier in the day if you missed it. In comes Farid again. That one again, shoveled round the corner. I'm using that verb rather a lot by Milan.
It's a good
Man
verb,
at
though.
deep 45. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And he's operating in dots or ones, which is not ideal, but I guess he's still there. He can launch an attack if needed later, and presumably it won't be needed because they're nearly halfway there, middle of the ninth over. Everything's
What
more or
time
less
is
on
it
course.
where you are, Forty?
It is. What time is it?
About 9.
It's quite late.
got a clock?
No, it's much later. No, I am. About 11:30.
You carry
It's
on
about 11:30.
commentating.
What time is it? And he's out. While I was trying to find
You
out
were
what
too
time
busy
it
looking
was,
for a clock.
the wicket
He
has
was
fallen.
caught.
Hales has again shoveled. This time he shoveled it down the throat of the man at deep square leg, and he's out for 19 off 20.
That's a pretty shit. Top edge, for fuck's sake. Oh, no, he's out. Excellent. Top edge, for fuck's sake. Oh, no, he's out. Excellent. Top edge, for fuck's sake. Oh, no, he's out. Excellent.
That's a great jingle, that one.
It's highly appropriate because it's exactly what happened. He did get the top edge.
Yeah,
Well,
that was pretty poor. He scored 19 off 20 deliveries. He's not gone particularly quickly. Hales is going. Milan's going pretty slowly. I guess next out is Stokes. Hopefully, he's going to do something.
I guess if you're going to have a poor batting display, have it when you're chasing 119. You should still
Well,
get over the
this
line.
is true. Maybe the pitch isn't as easy as we thought it was, but hey.
I think that's a fair conclusion.
And
Although-
as Bessie says, it isn't even dew point yet. So
No.
Although it's fair to say that England and Australia did manage 408 between them in this stadium, not
Yes.
of course necessarily on this pitch, quite recently.
Fourthly, I still don't know what time it is in Melbourne.
Well, I'll tell you. Hang on, I'll go and get my.
No, it really.
phone, which is
it's
just
not,
over
if you've
here.
got to get up and go somewhere else, then it really doesn't matter.
Like crying out loud. I'll play Ben Stokes' jingle while we're there.
It's 20 past midnight, is what it is.
Oh,
Allied into Stokes, and he is. I was going to say he's off the mark straight away, but I think they tend to give it about. Oh no, he's off the mark. So he's off mark first ball, but this is an excellent over from Farid. He's 1 for 3 off his 5 balls. So
cool.
that was a very agricultural hoik from Hales, wasn't it?
It was indeed. I forgot this is in Perth, isn't it? So you're 3 hours ahead of them, aren't you? Oh fuck!
Yes,
we fucking lost to Forest. Jesus Christ!
Well, quite. Apologies if anybody's been looking forward to catching up on that after the cricket. of the ninth over.
Only if you're a Forest fan would you wanted to do that, I suppose.
Yeah, true. Milan shapes inside it, sails over the keeper's head. Those are actually 4 quite welcome, and they've turned into 4 wides.
5 wides.
And of course, it's 5 wides.
1, 2, 3, 4.
That's a pretty poor ball, isn't it? It's gone over everything.
Very well. Yes.
Miles over
Not
everything as well.
Just when
there's
they
a big scorer in this.
Yeah, just when he was turning the screw and he bowled an excellent over, he threw it away, and he's going to have to bowl that one again. Some excited English fans in the crowd. I take it they're English fans. Look more like Afghan fans.
No, I
if
think
I'm
they were
absolutely
Afghan
honest.
fans.
Yeah, they had English
With
tops on.
England shirt.
Yes. Farid in again. Just knocked round the corner. Turned out to be the most productive shot so far. It just goes for a single. Farid 1 for 9 at the end of his first over. England 59 for 2. Annie.
Jay Grover says, my point being, Joss Butler slags off the red ball and is a serial killer. Milan just slagged off red ball cricket. Joss Butler is not a serial killer.
How is Joss Butler a serial killer? Do you know something we don't know?
Yeah.
Sorry, I've got urgent news for you. I followed Annie's instructions. I've gone outside and there is a heavy dew.
There's
There
a
you
heavy
go.
dew. You see, I told you to go outside. Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah, but
Right.
you're out in the sticks, though, aren't you? Not in the. Not in the
Yeah,
sun.
but
Still,
even
it still
so.
would be. Hattie Wright says, "Oh, you can't see it. I was just saying that I'm loving the commentary, guys, as ever, and looking forward to joining you in a few days."
Excellent.
Hattie's back.
Nice.
Um,
It's nice, isn't it?
and India.
Talking of people who are back, Rashid Khan's back. He's at the top of his mark. Afghanistan 7% on win vising the 93%. The boffins have decreed. It's not done quite yet, though. That's played out for they come back for 2. Hurried back for 2. Not a great Afghan fielding display.
But in the Ireland-Scotland game, wasn't it something like 90% that Scotland were going to win, and then...
Yeah, it's a nonsense, isn't it? It really is.
Yeah.
Well, in this
Milan surveys his field. Rashid in again. That's just played off his legs. Straight to the man at leg gully. So, no run.
I mean, it's pretty poor for Milan. 12 off 17.
It is, isn't it?
T20.
Mind you, they're not. We're not.
I mean,
facing massive,
as you said, it
so.
doesn't really matter in this situation in this game. But
it would be
might
good,
do.
Well, it might.
run
Well,
rate.
exactly. I mean,
It
you
might
do kind
do.
of
That's
want to
the
get there.
thing. Net run rate becomes critical when you later on in the tournament. And that's just played out. I mean, it's a perfectly decent ball, but Milan really ought to be looking to accelerate now. 12 off 18. That's another dot ball gone by. And
But there's a heavy tune.
there's a heavy tune. Afghanistan rushing through their overs, which is always a good idea. Carbon copy, rinse and repeats. Played straight out to the man in the covers. Dot ball. 2 runs off the first 4 balls of this over. Stokes is looking rather unimpressed at the non-striker's head.
He does a good
Very much.
unimpressed face, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
That's his resting unimpressed face, isn't it? And that one's played by way of variation. Straight out to the man, but slightly deeper mid-wickets. They do finally come through for a run. Required run rate is 5, and they're currently on 6.3.
We're due for a change at the end of this over. Messi is coming back.
Goodness, already?
Hendo's going to come in and take over from me and do some ball by ball.
Indeed, I shall summarise.
And I'm flitting off till I'm not on again until India, Pakistan
Oh,
tomorrow.
well, look forward to seeing you then. Thank you very much for your company, Annie.
Well, it's been
What do you know?
delightful.
It has indeed. That's a dot ball to finish the over, and we change commentary with England on something like 53 for 2.
Hendo!
And Messi,
Yes.
I presume it's you on socials. We're on Aminda's tweet.
Gotcha. Thank you very much,
Okay.
Annie. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, guys.
And I guess we're on a drinks break too, which is handy.
Ah,
and
yes,
Indo
that
says
might
it's
well
a
be the
toss-up
case.
between who's played the worst cricket today, Australia or Afghanistan. In the end, a disappointing first day, but for the Kiwi batting. I've got to say, I think England's batted in a pretty ordinary fashion. I thought they bowled and fielded beautifully, but I'm unimpressed with them at this stage. Jay Grover says if Richard III won at Bosworth, we'd all be ruled by Yorkshiremen. Is that what you want? The history of our cricket club suggests that might not be the best idea. Yeah.
But would you rather the alternative, being ruled by the people who actually are being ruled by at the moment? Surely Yorkshire could hardly do any worse.
I tell you what,
Well, I think India had the best idea, where the Indians come back and colonise Britain and sort out its government.
I would.
I quite like that idea.
If not that, I'd take Jeff Boycott. I'd even take Jeff Boycott over what we've got at the moment, which is fairly radical.
Hello,
I think.
Hindo.
Hey, Messi. Hello, Forthy.
Yeah.
Lovely
Hello
to be
there.
on the
Hello
Australian
there.
boy.
I'd quite like to have seen in their heyday a Boycott, Close, Truman, Illingworth cabinet. That would have been.
The thing is, none of them would have been able to support any of the others, so they wouldn't have ever got elected. That would have been the problem. I mean, you know.
But whoever was in charge of austerity would have been the keynote.
Oh, jeez.
We should, yeah. Well, England are making a pretty good fist of this, aren't they? They're looking pretty comfortable.
I guess, but you just never know in net run rate, do you, Hendo? It can be important and significant later in the tournament.
113.
Maybe.
I mean, you're talking about scoring at under 6 and over. If you can't do that, then you have to look at yourselves very.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sure absolutely certain they'll win the match. Well, as certain as you can be. It's just net run rate can.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, that's a fair point. I mean, having bowled out a team for such a low score, yes, you do want to do it quickly because that puts you in the driver's seat, as they say.
Yeah, and it has been important in the past. So we shall see.
I do think that Afghanistan will perform better against other teams. I mean, a lot better. 113 is a very poor return for them, and I think they struggled. I mean, they did definitely struggle against the pace of of Mark Wood. And although, you know, Sam Curran came in and took those wickets and his figures looked tremendous, Mark Wood to me was the man who caused them the most problems.
100%. Yeah.
We're back live. Nabi, the off
We are
spinner
back live,
and
yes.
captain, is bowling to Milan. Milan eases this out to Kays Ahmed at deep mid wicket, and they take a single. Milan has 14 from 21. Stokes a single from the 2 balls that he's faced. England are 63 for 2, so they need another, another 50 from. So we're now talking about 5 and over. Nabi in bowls. Back goes Milan. Stokes on this occasion works it to deep mid wicket once more. They take a single, not cleanly taken by the wicket keeper as the ball was hurled back in.
There's Majid, Rashid Khan and Mohamed Nabi who's bowling now. That's a pretty impressive spin lineup.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not one of the best in world cricket, but not really backed up by the paceman.
No, Nabi in again round the wicket to Milan, who will take another single, just once more easing it into that vacant, rather open area in the leg side infield. England need 48 more from 57 balls. It would take something spectacular for Afghanistan to pull this one out of the fire. But we've seen stranger things.
Have we? Maybe.
Well, England being beaten by the Netherlands in 2009 was pretty strange.
Yeah. That is 100% true.
I mean, I remember watching old Stuart Broad trying to somehow get the ball onto the stumps. Oh, he's bowled him! He's come down the wicket, Stokes. A quicker delivery from Mohamed Nabi. He really threw that in at 65 miles an hour. It's gone between bat and pad, and Stokes has found himself on his way. Maybe it's not all over. England are 65 for 3, and one of their main men has gone.
Got him! Why did he do that? Unbelievable!
Yeah, great piece of bowling.
Looked like an arm ball, which slightly surprised the batsman, and it actually deflected off his. Like surprise Stokes went off his pad onto off stump there.
Yeah, well, he's shaking his head as he goes back to the pavilion. He'd come down the wicket. I think just Nabi just saw him and threw it in with a little bit more wrist action on the ball, and as you say, it clipped that front pad on its way into the stumps. And
he can get quite a bit of pace, can't he? He's got a real round arm sling.
Oh, he's a highly skillful bowler, is Mohamed Nabi.
Very experienced. 101 T20 internationals.
It's the brilliance, isn't it, of having the ball up there in your hand. You're in the delivery stride. Your arm is coming over, and then you can just impart a little bit extra pace on the ball.
Yeah.
Really, really wonderful stuff from him. Liam Livingstone has come to the crease at number 5, which is perhaps earlier than we expected him to. I will jingle him up. He's had struggles with injuries, facing up to Nabi, a little bit of movement away, perhaps a bit of drift, but he punches this past the man at extra cover, fairly straight at extra cover. The throw comes in from long off, and they have taken the 1. Livingston underway. England 66
He has some experience
for 3.
here, of course, having played for the Perth Scorchers.
Oh, did he play for the Perth Scorchers?
Yeah.
It's extraordinary, isn't it? I mean, we talk about Liam Livingstone as this this great player. He's only ranked 97 in batsmen at T20 international level. And I said the other day, I think it was in the Smacksman piece last week, that Liam Livingstone, as Nabi comes in, bowls to Milan just glides that down to backward point. There is no run. That actually, when you look at his figures, and it may have something to do with batting lower down the order than perhaps he should, apart from that 100 he got against Pakistan, and a wonderful innings of 40 plus balls, he's not done a lot in T20 cricket. It's almost like his reputation exceeds his return, if that makes sense.
I think that's certainly true, but by the same token, the great majority of T20 cricket isn't at international level. So in the BBL, he's got 851 runs at a strike rate of 138 and 9 wickets at an economy rate of 8.2 per over, which isn't too
So,
bad.
does that create a situation in our own minds where that isn't reality? You know, we see him as a better player than he is.
Quite possibly.
Rashid Khan is in, bowls to Livingston, who just forces this up to long on. Before Fourthly comes in, I'll just do a little jingle for the new man.
Rashid Khan, yes please, the best of the bowler in the whole silly world, yeah. Rashid Khan, yes
Please.
What you gonna do when he bowls to you, yeah.
It's great, isn't it? Actually,
Still
that's what you should
still
say.
going? Yeah.
Anytime anyone says Rashid Khan, you just say yes, please. Superb stuff. Rashid, none for 8. He's into his third over. He's in, bowling to Milan. Milan lets this one come on to him as he's onto the back foot, and he's keeping relatively calm, turning this out to deep mid-wicket and taking the single. England move to 68 for 3.
Well, you usually look at strike rate in T20, and his strike rate is good, Livingston, 152. That's very, very acceptable, very much something acceptable. But his average is only 21, and that includes that 100.
He's going to take another single here. This is angled into his legs, and he clips it away quite comfortably to deep mid-wicket. Yeah, I think that's absolutely true. I mean, you know, when you look at batsmen that are coming in sort of from 4 or 5 downwards, you're sometimes looking at the quick 30, aren't you? You're looking at the quick 30, the quick 40, rather than anything really significant in terms of total. It's just how quickly they do it. And you're right, he has a fantastic strike rate.
Which is important. Unlike Ben Stokes, who's got a bad strike rate and a bad average, if we're honest.
Khan bowls again, and onto the back foot goes Milan, and he's beaten by this one outside the off stump. Fumbled by the keeper, so if he had got an edge, it would have possibly gone to ground.
Do you know what happened on the 20th September? I bet you don't. Rashid Khan
I'm sure a lot of things happened on the 20th
Was it
September.
in history? It was
Ever. Here he is again. We'll find out in a minute. Onto the back foot goes Milan. He's going to take another single as he forces through the vacant mid-on area.
Was it Agincourt?
No. Rashid Khan turned 24.
Oh my
Oh
God.
my goodness! Right.
And he's
okay.
been playing cricket for 72 years, as far as I know.
Seems like that, doesn't it?
Amazing.
Seems
It
like
does.
that. I'm not convinced he's not one of your great-grandkids, to be honest, Messi. 70 for 3 is the score. 1 ball remaining in the 12th over. So Afghanistan not completely out of this one.
No, a couple of wickets now.
A couple of quick wickets. Rashid Khan might be the man to do it. He's in, bowls to Livingston. Livingston plays back to him, but
Nice
past
shot.
him, in fact. And they will get another single up to long off. That is the end of the 12th over. England chasing 113 to win, are 71 for 3. Messi.
So we're back on serial killers. Ravi says Henry VIII killed perhaps 5 or 6. Shipman killed about 23. Boris Johnson killed probably 200,000. Guess who's favourite for the next Prime Minister? Well, actually, he's not favourite. Sunak is favourite by a long shot.
Is he really? Is he really? I just don't trust. I just don't trust the British people.
No.
I'm sorry.
No.
And if it goes
It's
to
not
the
so much
membership,
the British people; it's those cauliflower
Tory
people
members,
in the home counties.
absolutely.
isn't it?
Basically, Fourthly, you're saying that those shouldn't be considered as British people.
Barely. Barely.
In comes Nabi, bowls to Livingston, who drives the ball slightly on the up, but straight back to the bowler. There is a slip now in position for Nabi. Nabi is into his second over, figures of 1 for 4. Captain of the Afghanistan team. This time he comes down the wicket, it's fired in, but he'll still get a run. He might get a couple here, in fact. It's well placed by Livingston between mid-wicket, deep mid-wicket and long on, and they do get back for the second. England need 40 from 46 balls, 73 for 3. I do think, though, having watched the documentary on Harold Shipman a few months ago, that he probably killed a few more than 23.
Oh yeah, I think that's true.
I mean, you know, it's almost like that. Unfortunately, that nurse that's on trial. I won't mention it really because it could be contempt of court, but it's one of those really shocking, potentially shocking stories. Pulled by Livingston. He's only going to get 1 out to Ahmed at deep mid wicket. 74 for 3.
Hey,
Sometimes
Dave Wood is confused. He says, "Is Messi Jez basically Crocodile Dundee?"
I wouldn't be surprised. Messi Jez is all sorts of things. Things you can't even imagine. Anyway,
beyond human record.
Beyond. I'm surprised you haven't turned up on Ancient Aliens. Does anyone watch Ancient Aliens? Am I the only person who watched Ancient Aliens on?
Yes, I do not watch Ancient Aliens.
To help me, it helps me
watch
sleep. Down to backward point by Milan. He's going to run through for a single. The score moves on to 5 for 3.
Back to Harold Shipman for one moment, unfortunately. There's a lot of strange people out there. There's a very good Australian film called The Stranger with Joel Edgerton at the moment, which is a recreation of a famous abduction case. But I do recommend it if you come across it. Another very strange individual indeed.
Yeah, there's not much cheery out there on Netflix, is there? Fired
in the cinemas, that one.
Oh, we're right. Okay, Livingston's going to take a single up to long on. England moved to 77 for 3.
So, if I want Ancient Aliens, all I need to do is look in the mirror.
Oh yeah, fair point.
Messi, come.
Who do you think you were formed from, Messi? The Pleiadians or the what were the other? I can't remember what the other ones are.
I think a grey. I think.
You're a grey. Yeah, good point. This is fired in with a lot of arm from Mohamed Nabi. It's Milan on the pad. He shrugs his shoulder in disappointment at not being able to connect with that. It's the end of the 13th over. England 76 for 3, chasing 113 to win. Messi.
Ravi sent us a photo. Says the bottom of Bombay, just so you know. The thing is, the ring is Wankhede Stadium. Looking directly up from it, south is the little green patch that is Brabourne Stadium. On their left, reading down, are the Oval, Cross and Azad Maidans. I don't know why you sent us that, Ravi, but it's a lovely photo.
It's nice.
Jay Grover just says, well, serious point for once, I still find it very hard to read 2020 games, even after all this time. I think everybody does, Jay.
Yeah.
But he also says Stokes is fucking shite. Which
That's a bit
think
harsh. Little bit.
tend to agree with in 2020. He doesn't belong in 2020.
Majib is back into the attack and he fires one down the leg side, which Livingston manages to help on its way. Very fine indeed. It wasn't what he wanted, the bowler, and it's gone for one of these.
Now my innings going, great guns, I hit the ball, 4 runs, I hit the ball and it went for 4 runs.
It's always fascinating when you watch these bowlers in slow motion and you see what exactly they impart on the ball. It's quite phenomenal.
Exactly
That's
right.
hit him on the pad. Big appeal from the wicketkeeper who's got about 5 yards down the leg side and then appeal. I think they're going to review that. Are they?
Really? He was a long way
They
down
seem
the
interested.
pitch.
I'd be surprised. It's been given not out by Alim Dar, but I think they are reviewing that, so there will be a little bit of a delay.
Well, you might as well, mate.
Are you a fan of H.P. Lovecraft, Hendo?
Not much.
Talking of,
No, I don't really know. I mean, is he science fiction?
In science fiction, yes. He had the Cthulhu mythos with the idea that
sort
there
of
are
horror science fiction, really.
Oh, really?
100%.
Yeah, I'm not.
Science fiction.
I'm in.
Quite a few
I don't
films
mind
based on
science
his
fiction
works.
as long as there's an element of perhaps reality to it. We're looking at this one. Has got. I don't think he's got any bat on that. It's probably missing leg stump or maybe clipping, in which case
At
it'll be
best,
given as not out. That's we're seeing it from side on mainly. The Afghanis are in a huddle, looking to the screen, the big screen.
I just question you, Hendo, as to whether faster than light travel falls within your definition of reality.
I don't know really. I don't like things that are set, 200,000 years in the future. I mean, if they're set 5 years in the future, or 20 years, or 30 years, or even 100 years in the future, this is maybe closer than we think. No, it's not. It's just missing leg stump. So the Afghanistan review fails, and we should play this. I get the feeling from England there's actually sort of an element of sensibleness as has come across them. They're just trying to win the game, get underway well. Livingston goes back to a short one, turns it to the man on the 45, but he has to make some ground to his left, so they'll get a single. There's been a tendency.
I think it's a counterbalance to the government, isn't it?
Yeah.
The more sensible the T20 being play, the more crazy the government go, and vice versa.
It's like the Test and the white ball cricket have sort of reversed, isn't it?
It is. You're absolutely right. I mean, that's another counterbalance.
But I like this. I mean, I quite like. Okay, I understand this notion of the net run rate, and it may become important later on. But I think it's more important just to win your first game and feel that you're in control.
True that, yes.
Majid bowls from round the wicket to the left-handed Milan. Milan forces a ball on the up, straight back to him. There is no run. 81 for 3. 2 balls left in this over. Milan goes back and he flays this away, looking to get it through the offside, but I think he's been caught. He has been caught at extra cover.
Whoa.
He didn't get over it sufficiently, and he's given Afghanistan the opportunity. Their fans are delighted, and England have lost a 4th wicket. Milan has gone, never really got going. But, let's have a look at this. He went back, he forced it. Oh yes, it's a good catch,
really
diving
good catch.
away to his right.
That's a great catch.
Really nicely taken, and that is the end of that.
Another one bites the dust. I think that is going to be out, Fred. Another one bites the dust.
And it is the captain leading the way, leading by example, taking the catch there at extra cover. And Milan has gone.
And Josie Oak says the collapse is on.
We're doomed. Surely he says we're doomed.
Yes. You cannot count your
Parrot
chickens.
Badger says, I prefer the other version of the Rashid Khan jingle myself. Fuck yeah.
Actually, let me have a look and see if we've got more than one jingle for Rashid Khan in there. I mean, we have in the entire cart, but it may not be on the sort of immediately accessible jingles that we can just click on. So, apologies for that. Maybe we'll get the other Rashid jingle. But Rashid, yes, please. What's wrong with that? Rashid, yes, please. It's perfect, isn't it? No one would say no, thanks.
No, but the fuck yeah sort of adds a bit of imperative to it.
This one is fired in at Brooks' legs, hits him on the thigh pad, just drops out behind the wicket. We should jingle up Harry Brook. We'd love him to have that whole jingle because it's the end of the over. England are 81 for 4, 14 overs bowled. They require another 32 from 6 overs. It should be straightforward, but cricket is a fickle mistress, and you can never be utterly sure. Can you?
Yes.
Neil Harris says, why wouldn't you use a smaller stadium so you could get a better atmosphere? It looks like a COVID crowd. Well, I understand that, but fundamentally you want some consistency between the games. If they played at the WACA, for example, which is a very small capacity right now, they would be playing on the WACA strips, which are a bit different from these drop-in wickets.
Farid is back into the attack, and Livingston launches into a very pleasant drive indeed. Gets it to the right of extra cover, to the left of mid-off, and that has run away to the boundary for, I suppose, a confidence-boosting one of these. Farid has just bowled the one over before this. That was a genuine cricket shot from Liam Livingstone.
It was a genuine cricket shot. It should have been stopped, actually.
Probably should have been.
But nonetheless, very crisply hit.
Really? The 284th 4 of the tournament so far? Who counts fours, for God's sake? Left arm round the wicket again. It's crashed square by Livingstone. That wasn't quite so orthodox, but it was effective. And that has flown away for one of these. You give Liam Livingstone width at your peril.
I mean, we're talking him down a bit, but in those 2 shots, he's probably timed the arse off those 2 shots more than anybody else in the game so far, to be honest.
He moves to 21 from 13. What a good start from him. In comes Farid again, and he plays this off the back foot, almost as if he thought the ball bounced a little bit more than he expected, but he guides it down with control to third man and picks up another single. England move to 90 for 4. The required rate is now just 4.18. And
Warren says Hendo's an ancient alien. That explains a lot.
Very good point. Very good point.
It's Eric von Daniken who had theories about aliens.
Yes, Chariots of the Gods.
Yes.
He wrote many years ago.
Stuff.
I must admit, I watched.
You're a fan.
I was no, well, not really. Yes and no. I mean, I think that as Shakespeare said, there are more things in heaven and earth than we imagine. We can't imagine, in fact, what.
In your philosophy, Horatio.
That's the one. That's the one. Farid in again, bowls to Brook, and Brook guides this on the bounce, really past the man at backwood point, who tried his best to thrust his hand out but couldn't get to it. Brook has run really quickly to get back for the second. Good work from him. England moved to 92 for 4.
I think that's the idea in that Prometheus film, isn't it? With the Ridley Scott directed one.
Oh, really?
That intelligence arrived from outside us.
I know, but
I think it was a very pretentious film, mate.
There are some incredible things, that are said, and absolutely you think people are off their heads. But actually, the world is such a weird place, isn't it? Farid bowls, pulled by Brook very nicely indeed. There is a man at deep backward square, does well, in fact, to keep that in play and keep it away from going for 4. They'll pick up 2 more. Brook moves.
Are you suggesting that Liz Truss, Nadine Dorris, and Jacob Rees-Mogg might have been right all along?
Well,
there's definitely
there's what's mad and there's what crazy. I think there's a line to be drawn, but I mean when you
Invasion of the Body Snatchers, I think comes to mind.
But when you look at the night sky and you think these things are billions of light years away, I mean it's phenomenal, isn't it?
But they're very small. They're very small, those stars, aren't they? And we're very big.
At the moment, we seem that way. This is guided down to third man by Brook. They'll take another single. It's the end of the over. 15 are done
and
and dusted. England.
Okay.
Sorry, let me just give the score. 95 for 4. 5 overs remaining. England need 18. The bear is.
I think that's the end of us, isn't it? Yeah. Cheers.
It is. While Tony's sitting down, I'll do one more tweet from Leah. It says, "I really like Rashid. I'm always amazed how far he has come from that awkward kid that only gave one-word answers to a genuinely interesting and thoughtful speaker on the game."
Well, he's seen a lot.
He has.
Jay Grover is the next tweet for you, Tony.
Thank you very much.
I remember trying to interview Chandra Paul's 16-year-old son in Antigua in 2013, and despite my incredible skills,
you couldn't get anything out of him. 17-year-old kid. Well, Rashid Khan is going to finish his spell with his 4th over. Harry Brook pulls the first one. No, it was Livingston. No, it was Harry Brook. Down too long on, they go back for 2. And this is the problem, isn't it, for Afghanistan? They've got Mujib and they've got Rashid, who are world-class bowlers. When those two aren't bowling, runs can flow.
Well, I think that's true, but if you give them half a decent total to face, and they're much more in the game, aren't they?
Yeah. No, that's going to be caught, surely.
Yes.
It is. Harry Brook is gone. Rashid Khan gets a deserved wicket, 97 for 5. Trying to hit it over long on here, Harry Brook. Didn't get the distance, and it's been caught down there in the deep.
The way that his bat turned in his hand, you feel like he was trying to play that a lot squarer than that. But unfortunately for him, it's gone much straighter than he intended, and he's just given a simple catch away.
Yeah, the other problem you feel with Afghanistan is exactly that. Have they got the batsmen to get enough runs on the board? More often than... I mean, they do, but I don't think they do it often enough.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think on their day, yes, they could be brilliant.
Yes.
We saw sort of little flashes of it this morning with a fantastic sweep or 2 that went for 6 off the quicker bowlers. But I don't think they
too
could
many
deal.
drop balls.
Yeah,
they
couldn't
don't
deal
take the
with Mark Wood,
singles as
could
well.
they?
No, they couldn't deal with Mark Wood. They didn't take some of the singles that should have been, the other sides would have taken. Moeen's in at number 7. I mean, this is a hell of a lineup that England have got, batting-wise.
Our beard shouldn't touch. Move over, AMLO. I like it too much. Move over, AMLO. You're one hairy dish. I love unconditionally. It's Moeen Ali.
We've got 4 overs and 4 balls to get 16 runs, so we should be able to get that.
You'd
have thought. That's clipped out to mid-wicket and it's now, and it hasn't been easy for England. I mean, I don't know whether it is the wicket or Rashid and Majib have bowled very well.
They're probably going to get over the line, but when you look at it, 5 wickets down, it's not that impressive, is it?
Yeah. The question is, do you think as that one is googly, which is cut by Moeen out to backward point to get themselves a single? This is it. Did England pace themselves after they lost a couple of wickets? I mean, you've got to say, Dawid Malan was glacial today for T20 innings. I mean, was it 18 or 30? You can't be doing that. But you wonder, did he decide not to take any chances because they had such a small total to chase? You'll never know.
Do you know what? Johnny Bairstow in the Times this morning said the way you deal with Rashid here is to take him on down the ground.
Oh, really?
Not the best advice, it seems.
Well, I think, Johnny would have done. The thing is, Johnny would have placed him loads of times. That's played down to long on to get himself a single.
Yeah, imagine having that confidence against Rashid Khan. It's incredible, really.
Well, I mean, a lot of batsmen would have seen him now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, he plays in virtually every bloody decent T20 franchise tournament around the world, doesn't he?
The thing is, he gets you out before you've had time to have a look at him.
Some people,
Generally
he gets taken to the cleaners every once in a while. And at the beginning of the IPL last year, he bowled quite poorly actually for about 4 or 5 games and got scored heavily off of. Got himself back into it. You wonder if he burns himself out. Constantly travelling, might you? In Afghanistan, he must be a fucking loaded. As that's cut out to backward point. There's no run. I don't know what.
No, took a single, didn't it?
No, single. Sorry, that's what I meant. I often say no run when I mean single.
You do.
Anyway. So, Message S says Jay Grover's the next tweet. I mean, that's like saying the sun will rise tomorrow. But I'll start with this one and hope I'm in the right. Or will it?
It won't if Boris comes back.
If it's true, it's no longer weird. Like Tim Minchin's line, you know what they call alternative medicine that's been proved to work? Medicine.
Yeah,
I get the idea. Jersey Oak, I said the collapse is on. We're doomed. Well, there you go.
I wonder what would happen if Jersey Oak and I went out for a drink.
I tell you what, I don't think the bear and I'd be with you.
The world would implode.
I don't know whether you come back, the pair of you.
Yeah, it would be a nightmare. Pokeball Finger, what the actual fuck? Let's limp to the finish line while trying to saw your own legs off.
Well, let's not be too critical. A win is a win.
A win is a win.
And Australia have been thumped by New Zealand today. So.
Exactly. In its first game of the tournament, what you don't want to do is lose it.
Yeah.
And there's no need to go very quickly. Pulled by Moeen out to deep mid wicket. Not greatly timed, but he'll get himself a single. It's all England need.
And also, I think this is quite good to see Liam Livingstone getting a nice little knock and having something to build on throughout the tournament, even if he bats lower down the order. I think, as I said, his reputation is greater than the sum of
what
he's done.
Well, not necessarily. I mean, I think he's batted well in some tournaments. I think he's done all right in the PSL. He's done particularly well in the BBL. We just don't get to see a lot of it.
Yeah, but you're talking about international cricket now, aren't you? You're talking about the best of the best.
Yeah, you are talking about the best of the best. He might not be I mean, some of those failures, as that's just inside edge onto hit, maybe. Out to the leg side, single, yeah. And that's always particularly suited unless someone gets inside his head for ODI cricket. And he failed quite a lot in those ODIs. Yeah. And what was annoying about that was he'd hit, a couple of 6s and a 4.
Yeah.
And then just carry on going, which is kind of what you need to do in a T20, but not necessarily an ODI. And
I think he was egoed out, wasn't he? On a couple of occasions.
Yes. In an ODI, you don't necessarily need to see that. You need to have a little bit of circumspect to get, 15 off the first 4 balls and chill out. And
yes.
Get a single,
have
get
a
a strike, and then have a go next over. In short, pulled nicely by Moeen. Probably a fielder out there. Doesn't look like it's been easy to time it that well on this pitch, to be fair.
Well, in that case, England would, need to take the positives and say we've done a pretty good job. But at 103 for 5, you're kind of, if you've got your England supporters hat on, you're kind of glad it's not 160 you're chasing.
Yeah. Well, England's approach would have had to been different. Presumably the wicket would have been slightly different. I noticed after the game this morning, New Zealand's net run rate is already plus 4.45.
Wow.
Australia minus 4.45.
And they're both in England's group.
I mean, that's almost as good as a point, isn't it? Australia's.
If there's a lot of weather next week, which there is, of course, due to be.
Guided by Livingston behind square on the offside. Can't beat the fielder, no run. 3 and over required.
Messi's divining rod will be twitching uncontrollably.
Yeah.
Which is not bad for an old man.
Yeah.
You do need to keep your divining rod in good order.
Yes. 10 required for England. No one's going to win the GPL today.
Hey!
If England lose by 1 run.
Oh, God.
Messi will win. I don't think if they score a 6 off the last ball, because no, he would still be too short, I think. If the scores were level and they hit a 6, it would be 330. That's clipped into leg side nicely by Livingston. It's a man out in the deep there, and it'll be a single. I think Afghanistan have done themselves reasonably proud, I thought. I mean, not with the batting, but they've certainly pulled it back with the bowling.
Yeah, I mean, give them credit. They're a good side, and they can be a good side on their day. They are, I don't want to use the dreaded word mercurial, but they are a kind of
especially when it's not Pakistan.
Well, it's not Pakistan. But they can be brilliant when it comes off for them.
The thing is, actually, you don't want to be the side that comes up to them in a tournament like this when they have their day.
When they have their good day, yeah,
because
absolutely.
that's when you're going to lose to them. If one of the top teams expected to win it, as that's short and fast and down the leg side and mowing ducks inside it, it's not giving us a wide and there's no run.
That was a good ball, I thought. Surprised him a little bit, Tony.
Madame Mohan Sharma says, I feel had Australia scored 112, England would have scored the required runs in 12 overs. But against Afghanistan, they're taking too much time. Well, I don't think it's that straightforward. Farong's done a picture of a baby that says, oh shit, squeaky bum time. Surely not. Well, you never know. John Batham, how bad has our batting been today? Could have been bowled out if Afghanistan had held their catches. Poor net run rate in this match could haunt England. Yeah, we were just discussing that, but I don't think it's straightforward. The batting's not straightforward.
The batting's not forward, and you want the points rather than the net run rate.
Messi Jazz has done one of those things you expect to hear on Gorilla Cricket. I often say there's no run when they take a single.
Yeah,
which is probably
it's always
true.
Mildly confusing.
Yeah,
and your discussion about the stars and the magnificence of them, Hendo, I tweeted out under our name the famous Les Dawson joke about that.
Down the
for
track
your pleasure
comes Livingston, I think. I didn't see who was facing. Yeah, it must be Livingston. He's right-handed. What I'm on about, Mohan's left-handed. It bursts through the hands of cover, and I'll get back for 2.
New bowler.
The gods made Muhammad Nabi, and they saw that he was good.
Did he throw it?
He came to play with bats and ball with a style like silk and wood.
Maybe he doesn't throw it. He bowls extraordinarily quick for it. It's just
He does.
flat darts, isn't it?
Yeah.
Inside edge onto the leg side, and there's now 61 miles an hour for a spinner.
So what was the famous joke from Les Dawson?
Well, it's not really a joke. It's more. I could read it to you if I get time. I'll try it at the end of this over.
Okay.
England needs 6 from 16 balls. Yeah, if they finish it in this over, they'll finish it with 2 overs to go. That's pretty good in the T20. It's 9%.
I mean, how do you think that the media at large is going to review this game? Do you think
they'll say England looked a bit sluggish, and they'll probably slate Milan for getting 18 and 30?
I think they'll acknowledge run scoring's not straightforward.
Well, they'll probably say that we made a meal of it. Wouldn't surprise me, as that's played into the offside. They're coming back for 2. Ooh, and they get there.
Yeah, easily enough, I think.
Yeah, it's a bit tight.
Easily enough.
Livingston getting back to the bowler's end. I think they want to finish it this over.
I mean, I think this is a fascinating group. It's a really strong group. You could see Ireland causing England trouble. You can see Paul Sterling on his day. I mean, he doesn't have that many days, but when he does...
Well, he had his day against... who was it? The other day.
The thing is, you look at this group and you think New Zealand...
Yes, Zimbabwe.
You think the strongest... There's 3 teams that could quite easily win it. As that's worked on the leg side and there's no run. I mean, New Zealand looked good, England looked good, Australia looked good. You look at the other side, you think Pakistan, India look like they should top that group with quite ease, and then it's between Pakistan and South Africa, really.
Yeah.
I think South Africa's a bit of a dark horse in this tournament. I've said that. I just put my colours to the masters. That one's pumped into the offside. There's no one. I think the conditions will suit them. They certainly like hard, flat, bouncy wickets. The batsmen love it coming onto the bat.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. It's an open tournament, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, T20 is much more open than anything else, isn't it? That's not particularly well timed by Moeen, but he gets enough of it to work it square enough with long leg that they get back for 2, and England require 2 off the last 2 overs. And this will be all right for the net run rate, having knocked it off in 18 overs.
But when you look at that extraordinary net run rate that New Zealand have forged for themselves, 4.450, and Australia are minus 4.450. It's kind of quite entertaining, isn't it? The joke, Les Dawson's
it's
joke.
very quick, if I can do it. In awe, I watched the waxing moon ride across the zenith of the heavens like an ambered chariot towards the ebony void of infinite space, wherein the tethered belts of Jupiter and Mars hang, forever festooned in their orbital majesty. And as I looked at all this, I thought, I must put a roof on this toilet.
I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming. Yeah, as you said, it was just
the good old days,
room,
outside toilets with no roofs on.
Yeah. The good old days. The good old days. I think we're going back to those, aren't we? I won't be happy until we've all got outside toilets again.
Didn't see he was coming into bowl, but he's been smashed. Gone.
That's it, isn't it?
No, he's not out, and it's not 4. It'll just be 1. So England will require 1 run. Scores are level. 6 runs now. No one will win a GPL. Shame.
I'm thinking this is Asmatullah Omarzi, and this is his jingle. It's 31 seconds of it.
Please believe me.
Okay, that's enough of that. 31 seconds, I'm afraid, of that.
What song is that?
That's it's
the
Darling
Beatles.
by the Beatles.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Darling.
Yeah.
This should be last ball of the game. 112-5 England. Moeen's facing up. Oh no, it's not the last ball of the game because it's short. It's through the keeper. Give it as a wide. End the game with a wide. It is! It's a wide and the game ends. It's short. It's wide. It's total crap ending to a game with an extra. But England win by 5 wickets with 11 balls to spare. It'll be a decent net positive run rate. Should be okay. England, of course, having won that game, we've got to play New Zealand. You going to play a jingle?
I will.
So umpires spread your wings and call wide.
Or wide. England win by 5 wickets. What else can we say, Bear? Apart from
not a lot. Good start for England.
Decent
poor start for Australia earlier this morning, which is joyous.
That's more entertaining for us.
It was. They were poor, man. They got battered, man.
They still win the tournament.
Yeah, they could do. They could. Well, the thing is, if they lose to us, they're in trouble, aren't they?
Well, I suppose.
Because if they're having lost to New Zealand and England, who are probably the other 2 favourites in the group, and have to hope, England. Well, I suppose there's lots of weather around.
But the other thing to say, of course, is that although England did really well in the warm-ups against Australia, and had it not been for rain, they probably would have won 3-0. That when it comes down to the nitty-gritty, England may well lose to Australia.
Yeah, they may well do. I mean,
even though they played
T20.
really well against them last year. So, man of the match got to be Sam Curran. I mean, that's really fucked my Smacksman article.
I'm going to have to read it now.
You did say, didn't you?
I did say.
I might have to rewrite it if Sam.
Well, I didn't rewrite it. I just added it in at the bottom. But I don't expect us to see Sam Curran have figures of 5 for 10 again in this tournament, to be honest. But against Afghanistan, look, I love Sam Curran. I think he's a really, really good bowler. But I think Reece Topley, you miss something when you haven't got Reece Topley.
Yeah, too. I mean, I'd have had them both in the side. I think Sam Curran and Reece Topley were in my starting 11.
Who would you left out? Wokes?
I'd have left out Wokes. Yeah.
It's a difficult one, isn't it? It's
that
hard.
said, you've skittled a team out for 113.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the attack that was out
I don't
there.
want to say it's only Afghanistan, but it is only Afghanistan. I think they're well. I don't. I think their weak weak point is their batting.
And I think also though that actually getting Afghanistan first is important as well, because they're I think I heard you, Tony, talking about the fact that they'd lost their 3 warm-up games.
Yeah.
And getting them early is a good thing. if they get a little bit of momentum, they could still be a very dangerous side.
Yeah. I mean, they're always positive.
Yeah, and so, you know, it's a goodish win for England. It's not a massive win for England, but it's decent enough. Livingston ends up 29.
I genuinely think that wicket was not straightforward to bat on.
No.
The ball wasn't really coming onto the bat. I think, yeah, it was workmanlike. They got there. It does show just how deep their batting is.
I think workmanlike is a very good description, and I think that sometimes that's important for England. I mean, you take out the Bazball notions. Sometimes you do have to be
You have to win ugly. Sometimes you have to win ugly.
Yeah, which Liverpool didn't manage today. They fucking lost at fucking Nottingham. Fucking
Oh
Forest.
dear, dear,
Oh,
dear.
mate,
says the
my
man
t-
from Watford.
My team has won 3 games out of 38.
Oh,
what are you worried about?
We're going to
mate?
lose to Luton tomorrow. Life doesn't get any worse than that.
Who you got hammered by the other day? I thought you.
Millwall, wasn't it?
Millwall, yeah.
Millwall.
and
Couldn't
then
hack
Millwall
it.
losing 3. Someone
Millwall
got a
hat
bloody
trick.
hat trick.
Couldn't hack it.
Yeah.
Very quickly, well, I'm going to say a few hellos. George McPherson, thank you. Suter, who has been very busy chatting away. He said net run rate's only an issue when you start losing games. That's probably fair enough.
True.
Emily Elizabeth said, what was the run total? And thanks, everyone. 113. I think she means
For the GPL.
GPL.
It was 225. No one won.
No winners.
The prize is getting bigger and bigger. I'll tell you what it is for tomorrow.
Yeah, she confirmed, yes, my guesses were too high. They
Way
were,
too high.
Emily.
I did tell you that.
But
earlier.
you've just made that pot get bigger and
Yeah,
bigger.
it's
And
all
it
right.
will be won. Someone will win it.
224 it starts off
Wow.
tomorrow. For India, Pakistan.
Is that the highest we've ever had?
No, it's been up to 290.
But it's
Whoa.
extraordinary in a T20, though, isn't it, that we
Yeah.
haven't had someone landing on the correct.
Well, I guess
correct number.
you think in a Test match day, you might, it's quite easy to work out, except for when England have been playing Bazball, that you might get somewhere between say 250 and 350 on an average day.
There is
In a
Sam getting his
T20,
memo.
it could be as low as
Memo.
250 or as high as 500.
Yeah, absolutely true. Sam Curran is being interviewed by Mike Atherton. And of course, I mean, in technical terms, you look at the scorecard and you say Sam Curran's bowled brilliantly. I have to say that I was rewriting a lot of the Smaximum while Sam Curran was bowling, so I'm not actually quite sure how well he did bowl. How would you say he bowled?
He bowled really well.
He bowled really well.
He was accurate. He nibbled it around, and he was very hard to get away on a wicket that helped him. And his brother Tom, in 2018, got a 5 for at Perth Stadium in an ODI. So now both Currans have 5-fers in a comparatively limited amount of international
a
cricket.
5-fer in a T20 is extraordinarily difficult
It
to
is.
get.
Oh,
and
yes.
That's absolutely fantastic bowling, you have to say. And in fact, he didn't even complete his 4 overs, did he? 3.4 overs in the end.
Yeah.
I think he looks better for having taken a little bit of the highlights out of his hair. I think that's a little bit more impressive.
I think also when he came back in the summer, he'd just come back from injury, hadn't he?
Yes,
and
that's
we all
true.
looked at him and thought, oh God, this isn't the Sam Curran we all know and love. And he's played a fair bit of cricket since then. He's worked himself back up to what is, close to where he should be at.
Yeah. Well,
he's looked a valuable member of the team.
He's just someone who strikes me as it's an enormous cliche that he'll make things happen. And okay, if you look at his game, there are probably times when he doesn't make anything happen at all. But I just love him being there. I think he's just a fantastic competitor.
He's a very good competitor.
And he can do good things with bat and ball. So what is not to like about him?
Yeah,
really?
agreed.
More tweets, Tony?
Only a couple thank yous from people. Jay Grover didn't like me posting a tweet, saying I'd posted a tweet and then actually reading the same tweet, but there we go. I think hopefully it was a joke. He'd also said thank you very much, as did O'Neill Harris. I think in other tournaments teams have their own fans. Only 5,000 England fans in Australia, ? So he's expecting a better turnout from the England fans. But thank you all for being with us. I think I've covered most of YouTube.
Yeah, I think the thing is
So I think we're there.
Your average England fan doesn't go to Perth, do they? I mean, if you're going for your first trip to Australia, you go to Sydney and Melbourne, don't you?
Yeah.
That said, I think Perth's a lovely city.
Well,
I really enjoy
Except
it.
for everything fucking closes at
Visiting
10
visiting Messi
9:30.
Jez should be, on everyone's punch list.
It should be in your
shouldn't it, really?
calendar, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
Go and visit Messi Jez.
What happens in the weather cave?
Anyway, tomorrow, we're not getting up at 4:30 to watch Sri Lanka v Ireland. You'll be maybe surprised to know, but we will be covering the biggie, the really big one. It's probably the biggest game in world cricket. Ashes
Middlesex Surrey?
Lovers may decide that that's a bit unfair. Middlesex Surrey, of course, obviously that comes in.
Yeah.
Yorkshire, Lancashire.
Not so much.
But it's a massive, massive game. India v Pakistan. It only seems to happen in ICC tournaments these days, which is an enormous shame. But we will be here with that tomorrow. I won't be here.
I won't be here.
I won't be here.
Tony won't be here. I'm going off to have some psychiatric evaluation. And
I'm going to Vicarage Road to watch Watford get pumped by Luton in the M1 derby.
By which time you will need psychiatric evaluation.
After which I will need copious amounts of alcohol.
I'm going to Bexley to watch my son play footy.
Yeah, it's all go here in the Gorilla firmament. It's fantastic stuff. If we're not commentating to you, we're doing extremely interesting things.
I don't know about that. I was at fucking Blue Water again last night.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you will allow your wife to take you to Blue Water,
I don't allow her.
I don't know what you can do.
I get told. I don't.
Can you not just?
I don't get a choice.
Can't you just hurl a chair at her or something?
Is that why you're such a control freak here? Because you get so bullied at home.
He's so henpecked.
Can I just have my notes? No. Let's see how you go with that.
Yeah,
and that's all because he got bullied into going to Blue Water.
And he wouldn't bring me a beer earlier.
He wouldn't bring you a beer.
To be fair, I didn't hear you saying that. I wonder why you were.
It's the equivalent of give a man a uniform. You put him into his own studio and he becomes fucking Caesar.
Mr. Jobsworth himself, the bear.
Fuck off the line. You play the theme tune.
I will. We'll be back tomorrow. Grubby's in control. He's at the controls of the Gorilla spaceship. Until then, it's goodbye from Tony.
Goodbye.
It's goodbye from the bear.
Goodbye.
And it's goodbye from me, Gorilla Hendo. Goodbye.
Bye.
Guerrilla crickets. Whoa. Guerrilla crickets. Whoa. Guerrilla. Take guard, man the barricades, patrol the cover boundary. At last the time has come. This is a cricketing emergency. Hear this call to arms for every cricket revolutionary. Take up your bats and stumps for the test match insurgency. At first they tried to silence us, but we would not be silenced. They threatened us with lies, so we threatened them with violence. Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, Guerrilla cricket. It's not about the winning, it's about how many rules you break. Even in cricket commentary, this is the best advice to take. Pick Guerrilla cricket, it's the finest choice you'll ever make. There's so much more to cricket than rev counters and a slice of cake. At first they tried to sanitize us and clean up our act. But people like it filthy, and we know that for a fact. Fidel Castro, Lenny Pascoe, Carlos the Jackal, Umar Akmal, Mahatma Gandhi, Grant and Andy, Brendan Behan, Austin Ian, Guerrilla cricket. Stick with us, cause you know we're not the kind of thing that you see on the TV and the radio. So vive la revolution. First they tried to buy us, but we would not be bought. Okay, we were, but then we ran away, and we will not be caught. Would not give up the ghost when they left us all for dead. They decapitated us, but we just grew another head. Chairman Mao, Jamie Howe, Ho Chi Minh, Asif Din, Václav Havel, Graham Saville, No Surrender, Percy Fender, Che Guevara, Sangakkara.